The first paid job in America was whores.
I never met a whore I didn't like. No, I will not make out with you. The type of hemophilia that I have is severe. If I were to not medicate it, I would be dead in 11 years. I grew up disproportionately aware of my own mortality relative to an average young person.
Have you ever done DMT?
No.
I know a guy.
When you're aware that you're definitely going to die, no, you know, because you felt the porcelain characteristic of your body and how fragile it is, kind of like Mr. Glass. Then you start thinking on a different level, not because you're smarter or wiser or better than anybody else, but you start thinking, all right, the things that matter to me, I'm disproportionately concerned about my soul. When you realize that you're going to die, memento mori, then you're way more concerned with the afterlife.
Are you concerned with your afterlife?
I promise you, Shawn, friend to friend, I do not give a fuck if anyone knows my name. I feel like right now the American people are in a position where they have to choose between an international tyrant or a domestic one. Primarily concerned that when we win the AI arms race against the CCP, that though we've averted tyranny by communism, internationalism, whatever you want to call it, we'll have empowered our own domestic government to be our tyrant. 30,000 CCP motherfuckers coming into the United States, and we saw them standing at parade rest outside the border. Maybe I'm just arrogant, but I don't want to accept any other fucking cultures.
I guarantee you military experts on all sides right now are thinking about the next war and how we're going to combat this drone situation. And if you don't have a plan, your country's fucked. Like, you'll see guys that are sleeping out in the field in the middle of the night, and these drones have thermal cameras, and they'll hover over a guy. They'll drop a grenade on him, and then he'll just grab it and throw it off. And you want to talk about PTSD? What's going on with the Russia and Ukraine war is the shit that's going on there, you're like, God damn, these boys are getting after it.
Are the Taliban nice?
No, they fucking suck. They had no fucking clue we were there. We went into their home very politely. We said, hey, we're going to be taking over your house for the night.
That's not even a fucking social media. Do they do any social media shit?
Nah, I don't think so.
There's not fucking like Telegram?
She reaches in her pocket. She pulls out this rock. And we're like, what the fuck is that? This woman gave it to me. And we go, why'd she give it to you? And she goes, this is her dildo. She let me borrow it. She said I looked like I needed to get laid. So she gave me her rock dildo, and she said, this rock is very good. But then that woman sang like a canary after she connected with her on that level.
After she's like, I'll use
my
your dildo
husband's a fucking piece of shit talking to Taliban. They come over here, fucking sold his ass out in a heartbeat.
I don't think it's good for a man to go 6 months without getting laid. I had a 6-month dry spell one time when I was single, and I started getting weird.
I don't know what kind of vision. I think you have this Vietnam vision of
maybe
war. Maybe. One of the things I like to do when everybody was asleep and I'm like fucking tripping hard is I would go and play Red Dead Redemption 2.
Did I ever tell you about my psilocybin experience? It makes you wonder whether or not you're actually tapping into the other side.
What are your thoughts on this pedophilia crisis we have here in America?
I think that we should kill all of them. Speaking of pedophiles.
Oh, here we go.
Tell me about Afghanistan.
The biggest fucking pedophiles on this planet live in Afghanistan. PTSD derives not just from getting into gunfights.
Right. But if we're going over there to partner with pedophiles, then who's the bad guy?
All of the stupid Taliban and ISIS are dead. The only ones that are left are the fucking clever, crafty, smart ones. So watch your fucking backs out there. Like, just because they look like fucking retards doesn't mean they don't know how to fucking kill you.
I would say Kash Patel, sociopath. Closet homo, possibly. Dan Bongino, incredibly good person, had no idea how screwed up everything that he loves is. Pam Bondi, dipshit. There was no way to do business the way that Trump did business in the 80s and the 90s without doing business with really bad people. You run into a Jeffrey Epstein because Jeffrey Epstein's managing all the assets of Wexner, who's the Victoria's Secret guy. Trump got involved in the pageant business. I think of Trump as the 90s version of Andrew Tate. Keir Starmer, we have to do something about this conflict. Probably noticed that they were just kids, went down to confront them, say, hey, get the fuck out of my car, try to shoo them away, and they just shot him in the neck. And when we mentioned that, that's when the swatting started happening. It was some Ukrainians harassing people that aren't in support of the war because the war's gotten more intense over there. They've obviously lost the war, and they do these campaigns where they just try to intimidate anyone that is a risk to them garnering any political support from the United States that they depend on.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Chase Geiser, what's up, my friend?
Nothing. Who are you again?
I'm Shawn Johnson and Company.
Oh, shit.
I
I
dare
thought
you?
Taylor Swift was supposed to be here.
How dare you disrespect me in my home?
No, man. It's awesome to be here.
How you been, man? What's going on?
I've been all right. I've just been working like a dog, living the dream, fighting the info war, and observing the world on fire all around me.
Yeah.
Both locally and geopolitically, too. Because, when you're driving down the street in Austin, Texas on the way to work, you see homeless people with their arms cut off from the heroin and the fentanyl.
Yeah. Where do we go with that? Do we need to start finding a bomb shelter to dig in, or what do you think here? How bad is it going to get?
I don't think nuclear war is ever going to happen because it's the only type of war where the political leaders die, too. And if they don't die, their quality of life is terrible. I mean, there's no one to bring them a fresh towel if they're in the deep underground military base.
I don't know about that. Have you seen some of those bomb shelters they're creating?
I know, but
They got pools and hot tubs
they're
and
putting
tennis
pools
courts.
and tennis courts in the bomb shelters.
Yeah, they
Do
got
they have fake windows with like artificial sunlight and stuff like that?
Everything.
Like Fallout, the show.
I heard about one they're building in Hawaii.
For Zuckerberg?
Yeah, Zuckerberg's. Have you heard about that one?
Yeah.
Dude, that thing is going to be sick.
Zuckerberg's a sociopath.
Oh, I know.
Did you meet him?
I met him.
Did he come off like a sociopath?
Came off as a huge introvert. That's kind of like changed a lot over the. I think he's really changed a lot over like the last 5 to 10 years, I'd say.
He used to be kind of cool when he was like giving the finger to the establishment and wearing pajamas to board meetings.
Right.
And then like after the Cambridge Analytica thing happened in 2016, when they were blaming Facebook for the election being stolen by Russian ads on their platform, and he had to come and say, Senator yes, Senator that, and he looked like an alien, and he had the suit on for the first time ever. We were like, oh shit, what happened to Zuck? It's like he got MK Ultra. But when he was talking to Joe on the podcast about that bow hunting thing, and he's like, what kind of bow do you have? And he's like, oh, I don't know, it's just one of the good ones. He's like, who'd you go with? He's like, oh, I don't know, we should like a team. Like he was
he messed that up.
Yeah,
he took heavies for a while there, and then especially when he was sitting on that pad underneath this chair.
He had a pad under his chair?
You did not see that?
No.
Yeah, he sat on a pad during the congressional hearing. Yeah, he had a pad, and they took a snapshot of it. It was like they were saying,
so he looked tall
to boost him up to either.
Is he short?
He's not that short. Like I met him, he's about average size. Yeah, maybe a little bit short.
Like,
but
would you say taller or shorter than the average Israeli?
I'd say he's like maybe 5'8", somewhere in there, 5'9", maybe.
Do you think he really does jujitsu?
Oh, he does. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen him roll?
I haven't seen him. Well, I've seen videos of him rolling.
Is it legit?
Yeah, he rolls pretty good.
Not too bad
for a super fucking nerd. Like he's a decent roller.
What about Lex Friedman?
Lex Friedman would wipe the floor with Zuckerberg.
Because Lex Friedman is the type of guy that once he gets focused on something, I mean, it's like insanity, right? He becomes obsessed with it. I gathered that from him.
Straight up. And he's got that serial killer kind of vibe to him in his eye. He's got that look. I love Lex.
All I have at home is one empty glass where I drink water and a mattress on the floor, and I'm here to roll.
Dude, that dude is fucking hardcore. And he's the sweetest guy, too.
I can tell.
When you meet him in person, he's like, no emotion, but he's like, how you doing? I love you. Give me a hug. Like, he always gives me a hug. He's such a nice guy. He's like one of the coolest guys ever.
I like Lex a lot.
And yeah, he's just so docile, but he's so smart, and he's got a very good drive focused to his drive, I guess I would say. Like
where do you think
he really wants to do good in this world. You know,
he's really concerned about.
I don't know where
his karma or something.
I'd have to dig into him a little bit more to figure out where I think he gets it from. I don't know if it's something he inherited or something he learned along the way. I just honestly I don't know too much about the guy. He's kind of mysterious in a way.
Really,
but I just know my personal interactions with him.
Does he have a dog?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Call him.
But I know he does it. I know. Let's get him on the phone. I know he does everything on his own, though. He produces all his own stuff. Yeah. He turns on his own cameras. He fucking edits his own stuff. You know, and that's a tall task in this business. I've just recently had to start doing it.
And he's one of the few people that can actually talk to highly technical people about highly technical things in a way that's accessible. Like when I see him talk to Elon Musk, for example, about AI or like a Kurzweil type person, he's really good at asking the right questions because of his knowledge in artificial intelligence from these people in a way that doesn't come off like Sam Altman with a butt plug in trying to sell OpenAI to investors in front of some stupid, audience, an investor. Like Sam Altman drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Tell me Sam too. Was it Sam?
I haven't. Well, actually, he did come on, but I came in a little bit too late. I just missed him. But.
So Sam Altman is the
OpenAI, ChatGPT.
And he had a major falling out with Elon Musk over what happened with OpenAI, as I understand it, right? I've just followed this as somebody who uses AI and is very interested in AI. I'm not by any means a programmer, though I use AI to program stuff a lot. And basically with OpenAI, it was supposed to start out open source, and the idea was it was going to be decentralized development of artificial general intelligence, which is different than just artificial intelligence as it's used by marketers. Marketers use AI to describe everything from the thing that makes your voice sound good to the thing that separates vocals from music in an audio track, for example. They say, oh, it's an AI tool. Yeah, it's really just really good software. But artificial general intelligence is different because it's agentic, right? You actually make an agent like the Matrix, and you deploy it, and it can go and actually interact on its own in the metasphere, in cyberspace, without you having to prompt it. So if I'm using a large language model like ChatGPT, I prompt it, it responds, it doesn't do anything else until I prompt it again, and then it responds. And everything it does is based off of its training data and the thread that we create together. But an agent, you can say, hey, listen, I need you to figure this problem out for me, either on my computer, or I need you to make reservations for me, and it'll go out and it'll call a restaurant, and if that time isn't available, it'll figure out which other restaurant to call, and it'll have a cloned voice, and it'll sound like a human, and the person who answers it. So that's agentic artificial general intelligence. It's its own agent, almost as if it has its own free will, even though it doesn't, deployed in the world in a way that doesn't require input-output on like a 1-to-1 ratio, like an LLM. Okay. That's what people are concerned about. That's what the goal of OpenAI is. And all these technocrats understood that whoever develops artificial general intelligence first is basically going to be like what Google was to search, or what Facebook at one point in time was to social media. And OpenAI was supposed to be like this altruistic approach to it, like, hey, this technology's coming and it's really dangerous, so we're going to make an open source version of it that the public contributes to, and everything's going to be totally transparent. And people like Elon Musk, who've been concerned about artificial intelligence for decades, were like, hell yeah, I'm in. We have to do it this way, otherwise it's going to be some monolith like the CCP or someone else that makes a very tyrannical Skynet version of this. And then it turned out that Sam Altman at least seems to be, I don't want to slander the man, because I don't know him, but he seems to me to be very malevolent, Machiavellian in his approach. And he rode that wave and then converted it to private and then made everything but transparent at OpenAI. People are quitting in droves because they have concerns about the security research that was supposed to be guaranteed to be done, the safety research that was supposed to be done in conjunction with developing this tech. And that's ultimately why I think Elon Musk bought X and made it a free speech platform. I think he believes in freedom of speech, but ultimately he understood that he needed to have a massive platform with free speech on it so he could use real data, not censored data, to train an alternative AI model that wouldn't be like a ChatGPT that won't tell you that the vaccines are bad for you or whatever other controversial thing, right? Yeah. And so we're witnessing right now massive AI arms race, not just between the United States and China, but between the technocrats who are all trying to vie for dominance in the market. It's wild.
It is wild. Like ChatGPT 5 just came out. Have you been playing with it at all?
I'm a Grok man now because Grok is better.
Do you still play around with it though?
I will use ChatGPT if I need to. I found that I like GPT better for image generation.
Yeah, agreed.
Like for example, we do a lot of supplement sales for Alex Jones. And
wait, what?
Yeah.
You guys do supplements?
And so like we launched a product called MK Ultra, which is just magnesium and vitamin K, but it's also a play on the Operation MK Ultra from the CIA where they gave everybody LSD and brainwashed them. And GPT designed that bottle. We changed it, but I was like, hey, this is it. This is the theme. And it gave us like something that's 80% similar to what we ended up coming out with. Whereas if you do that with Grok, it'll look weird if you try to make it design a specific product. Yeah. But all that's going to catch up. And every time GPT launches something new, it's way more expensive for them than it seems what Grok is doing. They did the AI video generation model, Sora, which was incredible. It went viral like a year ago where they were making fake movie trailers and stuff.
Right.
And it's incredible, but then, Grok is catching up with that with Grok Imagine. It's not there yet, but it will be. And Elon Musk, everyone always thinks he's going to fail at whatever he's trying to do, and he never does. So when he says he's going to start a new political party or he's going to dominate social media or artificial intelligence, you got to look out, man. The motherfucker landed a rocket twice.
Absolutely. And he's competitive as all get out. That dude.
Well, especially if he actually hates his opponent.
Yeah.
And
those two hate each other, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been feuding on X, which is ironic, of course, because in order to feud with Elon Musk, you have to go on his platform to do it.
Yeah.
It's always a home court advantage for Elon on X.
Speaking of supplements.
Oh.
I got a new sponsor on this show. Check it out. Let's take some. I want to see if you like it. See if it works.
All right, I'll take some. The first thing I like about this.
It's called Magic Bullet Methylene Blue.
That's how blue the capsules
So one of the biggest problems with methylene blue, the stuff that we've been taking, is that you have to use this syringe thing,
The dropper.
the dropper, and you squeeze it in water and you stir it around. And I don't like the taste of it personally, and I don't like that it gets my mouth all blue and my fingers blue and my table blue.
My wiener blew out if I pee after I take it.
So yeah, I partnered with a good friend of mine, and together we worked on this formula where we put it in a capsule form. And this stuff has like a 5-hour half-life, and it does the same thing.
Wow. Yeah. Well, the first time I took methylene blue, I felt like I was plugged into the wall.
Yeah.
Did you get that like electric feeling in your
Let me get
fingertips?
one of those. Shoot
You
one
want
of those
one?
over here? Yeah.
I like the capsules too. They work just as well. It will turn your pee green though.
Yeah. If there's anybody listening, I'm going to put a promo code down in the caption on this if you want to save money on these.
Promo code Shawn is gay.
I have so many friends. I have so many friends that are using this shit now, like for jiu-jitsu and training. And
Yeah.
like I personally, the reason I got onto methylene blue is I stopped drinking caffeine 2 months ago.
How's that been?
It's been fucking great.
Because you've been on methylene blue?
Yeah, well, it's helped because it's like that little something I needed extra, right, to help me focus, give me a little bit of drive, and especially in the morning before a workout. But I quit taking caffeine because it was keeping my body in like sympathetic nervous system mode. Do you know what that is? Like parasympathetic versus sympathetic?
You know, at one point in time, I did know what that was.
Yeah, so
but I don't know anymore.
So sympathetic is fight or flight mode. So
Okay.
that's when you're on edge and
So me constantly.
exactly. Right. Parasympathetic is the mode. It's called rest and digest mode. So
When you're asleep?
you need to have a balance of fight or flight mode and rest and digest mode. So for like people like I do, I work out a shitload, right? I'm always working out Alex. I'm working out by myself. I got other clients. So I need to force my body to go into rest or digest mode, or otherwise my muscles won't recover.
Right.
And if I'm drinking caffeine from morning until I go to bed, I'm in fight or flight mode all day. So all of my cells don't have a chance to regenerate, my muscles, the fiber, like everything I need.
This is the first stimulant that I've ever taken I can take and go to sleep.
Dude, I've gained 5 pounds of muscle since I quit caffeine. I've always been an active guy, training, pushing myself. But once I learned how caffeine forces your body into that fight or flight mode, I realized it was wrecking my recovery. I'd get the boost, but I couldn't really rest. That's when I came across methylene blue. It gives me clean energy, sharper focus, and I could still recover. Honestly, it changed everything for me in the gym, in business, and in life. Then I discovered alpha lipoic acid. On its own, it's a strong nootropic, boosting choline, which drives brain and body performance. But when you combine it with methylene blue, it's on another level. That's why I worked with the partner to create Magic Bullet, methylene blue plus ALA. For me, methylene blue was powerful on its own, but with ALA, it's the only way I do it now. Right now at bluevitality.com, you can pick up a full bottle of Magic Bullet for just $39.95. Use my promo code SJNCO to get 20% off the regular price. If you're serious about your training, your focus, or your recovery, this is the way to go. Wow. 5 pounds of fucking muscle. Like, it's crazy. I didn't realize how much I was like hindering my body by force. Like coffee in the morning, energy drinks during the afternoon, Diet Cokes at night. Like that's what I did for years and years and years, and I just kept stuck. I was like plateaued. I stopped caffeine for 2 months. I don't have any more knee aches. I don't have any shoulder aches. I'm just like, I'm good. My sleep's better, and I know when I'm getting tired, it's not because I'm crashing from caffeine, and it's not
you're actually tired.
I just know my body's actually tired, and so that's why I like this methylene blue. Like the shit actually.
My wife loves it for aches and pains too. We don't market it as something as like a pain reliever. I think it just generally makes you healthier. Therefore, pain relief is kind of an unintentional, indirect side effect. But my wife, she's got lower back pain from being a ballet instructor for years, and she'll take a methylene blue and it'll go away for like 2 days at a time.
Yeah, that's why I'm all about it.
I like it.
This guy had a great idea on a product. And I'm like, yeah, let's do what they've been doing, but let's make it better and stop staining our teeth fucking blue. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
I'm all about it.
Well, and I've had a lot of athletes reach out to me who've taken it, and especially if they're in high altitude areas, runners, cyclists, people like that, and they say that because it's supposed to help your body absorb oxygen more efficiently. Yeah. So when you're high altitude, obviously that's a problem. It's a disadvantage. And I've seen cyclists and bikers reach out to me and just say that it's changed their entire workout.
That's huge too. I think
they sent me the data. They sent me the screenshots of their fitness tracker, and they're like, "See, that was last week before I got the methylene blue, and this is this week." And they're like, Pew.
"It's wild. It's crazy." I know there's like a limit. You can't take too much of it. Like there is a limit to how much you take, but I think this stuff you can take like 5 or 6 pills a day, and you're safe.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to take it with SSRIs. Antidepressants.
Yeah. What does it do if you're on SSRI?
I think you can get serotonin symptom
Oh,
or syndrome, rather.
What's that?
Serotonin syndrome, where too much serotonin builds up in your brain if you take it with other MAOIs.
What does that do, though?
I don't know. You can have seizures if you overdo it. I'm not trying to scare the audience. They've been using this for like 100 years. But if you're on SSRIs, talk to your doctor.
Well, yeah, everything has a limit to how much you can take.
100%.
Right?
I mean, water. You can overdose on water.
We need something to make us go, but we also want to take something that's healthy, right? I don't want amphetamines in my body. I don't want sugars. I don't want.
I like amphetamines.
Now I don't want caffeines, all right? But everything is like a healthy balance, healthy dose. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you.
So, dude, I wanted to pivoting here. I want to talk about what's been going on with Jamie White. Like,
oh shit.
So real quick to recollect for the audience. So Jamie White was a longtime reporter for Infowars, and back in March 9th, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, March 9th, Jamie was murdered outside of his apartment here in Austin. Allegedly there was four black males, two 17-year-olds, two 15-year-olds that murdered Jamie. It was an attempted carjacking, allegedly. And shortly after, the reason I'm asking you, not to bring you back there, but I was asking Chase because Chase started getting swatted. Within hours after that happened, Chase gets swatted.
Yeah, it was.
And then,
I think it was 3 days later.
And then 12 hours later, Chase gets like swatted again. Like they did him on back-to-back nights. And I remember at that time,
it was the same day. Yeah, it was noon and then it was 1 a.m.
Yeah, and so one of them you were there, and the other one you weren't there because you were working, I believe. Right. So I just wanted to like take you back. It feels like it's been forever, but this was just back in March of this year. And so I'm curious to know, have you heard of anything with the FBI investigation going on?
So, without giving too many details, we found out who did the swatting, and it was
you did?
Yeah. Apparently, it seems to be somebody overseas, which is what we anticipated. So here's the weird thing. Let me just tell the whole story. Last year, there was an organization in Ukraine, the name of which escapes me, that put about 200 to 300 conservative influencers, I hate that term, but conservative influencers on an enemies of the state list in Ukraine. So Ukraine was trying to get another round of funding, and there were a bunch of people that were like, don't give them another dime, they're Nazis, whatever. And they made a list of like 200 to 300 people. I think the Hodge twins are on that list. I was on that list. Alex Jones is on that list. Jamie White was on that list. And it wasn't a hit list. It was just an enemies of the state list. This is an organization funded by the CIA. That's a Ukrainian organization. So the CIA had a foreign country put its own citizens on an enemies of the state list over funding complaints. And they ended up funding Nazis in Ukraine, $63 billion on Hitler's birthday last year.
Wait, what?
I mean, they didn't do it on Hitler's birthday on purpose, but it was April 20th, and Congress is flying the Ukrainian flag, and they're all neo-Nazis. It's like billions of dollars. So I went on air, and I'm like, they're funding tens of billions of dollars to Nazis on Hitler's birthday, and they're waving the flag in Congress. Meanwhile, there's a cemetery in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania, which is 45 minutes north of Philadelphia, I believe, where they have the Iron Cross statue. It's giant with the Ukrainian trident in the middle, and everyone buried there is an SS officer that was Ukrainian because 250,000 Ukrainians volunteered for the SS during Operation Barbarossa because they were starving under communism. And so they're all Nazis. Like, they're totally nationalist Nazis. They hate the Jews, all that stuff, right? And I was complaining that my tax dollars are being used to fund Nazis in Ukraine when my grandfather fought a war against Nazis. You know, like, I got pictures of old Don Geiser on the boat with the helmet and everything. I've shown you the helmet and the K-bar that he had.
Yeah, that's sick.
And anyway, a lot of people got put on this list. Jamie's death, I don't believe, was associated with this list. I don't think it was a political death directly, though I do think it was a political death indirectly because as a result of leftism taking over in Austin, Texas, crime is rampant, sanctuary city stuff. They just don't do anything about criminals until something really bad happens. And so I do blame the system for what happened to Jamie, but it wasn't like it was a conspiracy hit like you'd see with the JFK or what happened between Crooks and Donald Trump and Mueller last year.
Do you think you getting swatted was connected?
Yeah. So what happened was Jamie, he drove one of those Kias that is notoriously easy to boost, steal.
Oh, it's a TikTok trend, right?
I guess, probably, given the demographic of the people who were fucking with him. And I believe his car, and take everything I say with a grain of salt because most of this stuff I've heard from just other coworkers, and it's been a while since I've talked about it. But I believe his car had been broken into 2 months earlier to his death. And it seems to me, as I understand it, that he was kind of keeping an eye on his car in the parking lot from his apartment, and he saw these kids breaking into it, probably noticed that they were just kids, went down to confront them, say, hey, get the fuck out of my car, try to shoo him away. And they just shot him in the neck and killed him. I think he died within like 20 minutes. And he was a really, really good guy. I didn't know him very well because he was quiet and he wrote a lot of articles. I would interact with him every Sunday for the Sunday show. But that was really the only time I ever spent a lot of time with him. A lot of the guys that worked there were like in bands with them. They played music with him. They knew him really well. They were really hurt over it. And anyway, he was a great guy. He went down, confronted him. They shot him. Then we started reporting on it, and we mentioned the fact that he was on the same Ukrainian enemies of the state list as Alex and myself. And when we mentioned that, and when I would go on air and talk about that, that's when the swatting started happening. And so I think that it was some Ukrainians that are just harassing people that aren't in support of the war because the war's gotten more intense over there. They've obviously lost the war, and they do these campaigns where they just try to intimidate anyone that is a risk to them garnering any political support from the United States that they depend on. So they're connected in that way, but though not directly.
Which happen to be sponsored by the CIA.
Yeah. Yeah, when you see Trump argue with Zelensky in the Oval Office like he did a couple of months ago, I know that they just had a better meeting recently. Yeah, when I see that, I don't see Zelensky versus Trump. I see Trump versus the CIA. Because you have to keep in mind, Zelensky is an employee of the CIA. He works for the CIA. He represents the CIA. He's in power because of the CIA. Ever since the Civil War that broke out in 2014, we switched the regime control from Russia in Ukraine to the United States controlling the regime in Ukraine. That's what the Civil War has been about. That's what this conflict is about. So Zelensky represents the CIA. And he's between a rock and a hard place because he's got to represent his own people as the president of Ukraine, but he's also got to represent the CIA because they're the ones that put him in power and could easily take him out of power or just pull all power from him by eradicating support. And he's got to combat Donald Trump because Donald Trump's trying to do everything he can to be America first, and nothing about this war is obviously America first. Major distraction. So he's between a rock and a hard place because he's fighting against the CIA's interests and Trump's interests and Putin's interests all at the same, and his own people's interests all at the same time. Honestly, as much of a doofus as he is, in a way I feel bad for him because there's no way for him to do his job correctly.
Yeah, he looks so uncomfortable. He looks like he always has to take a shit
out
no matter where.
I know. He's stressed out.
Like it's a weird position for that guy.
Would.
I'm kidding. Did you see all the European leaders that showed up to the White House and they're sitting around Trump's desk?
Yeah. Keir Starmer. We have to do something about this conflict.
Yeah. It's so funny.
They're all fags.
Even surrounded by them, Zelensky, it's like, you don't belong there.
He wore a suit, but he didn't wear a tie, and he buttons the top button.
It's like all black.
And it's like black on black. It's like he showed up to his own funeral, man.
Stop. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
Vladimir Zelensky. Who buttons the top button, dude?
What do you think about how good of a job Trump's doing right now?
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10?
Yeah. I'd give the average president of the United States, the average the last 4 administrations, maybe a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, max. Average overall, 5 out of 10. I think Trump is a much better than average president, but still a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah. What's one thing that he's done that you wish he wouldn't have, and what's one thing he hasn't done that you wish he would?
I know this isn't the question that you asked, but I'm going to answer it this way. I really like that he stopped the bleeding at the border, and I really like that he pardoned all the J6ers. I was incredibly critical of his bombing of Iran because I was certain that was going to lead to war, and I think he proved me wrong on that. It seemed to actually de-escalate things. I wish he'd be a little bit less aggressive on censorship on campuses. I understand that he's very supportive of Israel. I understand the national security interests that surround Israel, though I have problems with Israel. But things like deporting students who are anti-Semitic for protesting on campuses, like I don't agree with those students. They're all radical leftists, most of them. I don't like the From the River to the Sea stuff. I don't like the Gazans at all. I don't want them to be genocided, though. And those aggressive things, censorship policies are troublesome to me. I would say that's something that he's done that I wish he wouldn't have. Something that he hasn't done that I wish he would is release the Epstein files.
Right.
And I don't know why he's not, because if he knew that he wasn't going to release the Epstein files, then he never would have signed the executive order that they be released. So it's obvious that he signed the executive order to release the Epstein files in the first week of his term. Then when he saw what was in them, he changed his mind.
Well, I just saw something in the news that said a federal judge blocked him from releasing 70 pages of the Epstein.
The transcript of the grand jury transcripts or whatever. There's some testimonies or whatever. Yeah. So when he said, "Oh, we're going to ask for the transcripts to be released," maybe he knew that the courts were going to block it, and it was like,
I tried.
Yeah. And I don't know what's in the list. I'm certain that there's a bunch of BS in the list and in the file because we saw what they did with the Russia collusion hoax, which has been absolutely proven by the great work of Tulsi Gabbard now.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but I'm certain that Trump is in the list in some capacity, probably not claiming that he had any inappropriate relationships with underage kids or women. But I'm sure that the Democrats found a way to try to tie him into that.
Right.
And I'm certain it's a misrepresentation of Trump, and that's why he is not wanting to release it.
What are your thoughts on Ian? Ian had a good, interesting point that he made on his last podcast. Ian thought that Trump was actually a blackmailer, not a blackmailer.
Oh, yeah, blackmailed RFK Jr. through Israel to endorse him.
But as far as
he got that idea from me.
All the Epstein clients and all that.
Yeah.
Like, he was actually one of the guys that was setting all this up.
Yeah.
And sending it out. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Instead of being one of the guys that they were catching on camera with these little girls traveling out to the island, he was actually one of the guys that was setting people up so they could get blackmailed.
So Ian might know something that I don't know. Ian, one of the things I really like about Ian is that when he gets interested in something, he actually does the deep dive, whereas my tendency is to stay at like 30,000 feet, right? So Ian Carroll has read the books about Epstein. He's interviewed the people about Epstein. He's actually really looked into this, and he knows what he's talking about. But my intuition is contradictory to what you just said. I think that what happened with Trump was he had these major financial problems in the 90s. He was a real estate mogul leading up to that. His father gave him a small loan of $1 million, and he had all this real estate mogul success. And he realized very early on in his career that his value was in his name and his brand, right? And we saw him really play off of this with the Apprentice series and basically everything that he's done since his early real estate success in his, I think, 20s in the 80s, if I remember correctly. And so I think that Trump got involved in the pageant business because I think of Trump as the 90s version of Andrew Tate. Now, Andrew Tate's a little bit different because he manages cam girls and he's actually in the porn business. I don't think Trump was ever in the porn business or the sexual trafficking business directly. But what I mean is Andrew Tate became incredibly popular because he showed himself with Lamborghinis and beautiful women. And that's what young men want, and it's what we as human beings are hardwired to see as success in another man. You see a man who's well-dressed with nice things and beautiful women. Every man, especially if they're between the ages of 13 and 18, is like, holy shit, I want to do that. That's why everybody has posters of half-naked rock stars in their room when they're growing up. Jim Morrison doing this. It's like, why do you have a shirtless dude on your wall? It's not because you're attracted to the shirtless dude. It's because, man, like, women want him. He's got the leather pants. He's got the audience is full. He's got the sweet cars, right? Like, everyone wants to be a rock star, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so that's how Andrew Tate became successful because people listen to him. He'd give advice on, hey, this is how you hustle. This is how you start your business. They signed up for Hustlers University. Trump did the exact same thing, only in the 90s. He understood that his brand was everything, especially when he was broke. All he had left was his name. So he's like, all right, I got to be surrounded by beautiful women and nice hotels and luxury things. So he gets involved in the pageants, man, because he wants to be photographed and in the papers with the beautiful women. So he's perceived as successful because it props his brand up and he's able to leverage and license his name with different partners or whatever in order to make money. So when you get in the pageantry business, you run into a Jeffrey Epstein because Jeffrey Epstein's managing all the assets of Wexner, who's the Victoria's Secret guy. So it's a natural partnership that you'd have the pageants and the Victoria's Secret would be a sponsor or get involved, vice versa. There's interest here. And I don't think that Trump was involved in the blackmailing stuff, but I think that he was involved with Epstein because there was a lot of crossover in business between Victoria's Secret, Wexner, and the pageants that he was doing in the 90s. And I think by the time he figured out that there was some, I don't even know if he figured out what it was, but I think he figured out there was something really wrong with Epstein. That's why he alienated Epstein before he was even prosecuted the first time. I mean, Trump just like got the hell out of that 20, 30 years ago, you know? So it's possible that he was the blackmailer, but like, can anyone name an example of somebody who was likely blackmailed by Donald Trump for a business deal to be successful? Like, I can't think of like, all right, who was blackmailed then? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you would think, his father being as powerful as he was, and all of his surrounding friends, if he probably learned one thing, it was how to stay away from the blame game and how to be amongst it, but not be the one that's getting, blamed. If something happens to somebody and that order came down from the top, I'm sure by watching his father and learning side by side what he was doing and how he was behaving in a way to keep the light off of him in a manner, but you can still use this to your advantage as a leverage.
There was no way to do business the way that Trump did business in the 80s and the 90s without doing business with really bad people.
Yeah, I can imagine.
His lawyer, Cohn, is like notoriously, a lawyer who's represented very bad people for a long period of time. He had to get the tax benefits and the tax cuts from the city and the code approvals and stuff to have contractors in the city. And anybody who was a contractor in New York City in the 80s or the 90s was connected, at least in some way, with organized crime. So it's certainly true that Donald Trump has done business with very bad people. What's not certainly true to me is that he became a very bad person in doing so. Maybe it's impossible to do business with those people without becoming bad, but I like to think there's a way to stay out of it. Kind of like the guy that owned the restaurant in The Sopranos.
Yeah.
That never really wanted to be in the mob, but they kind of for him because they loved him, burned down his restaurant for him so they could get the insurance, like he didn't know he wasn't it. Like, I don't know. I just think of Trump as somebody who knows, keeps his mouth shut, but doesn't really dirty his hands. Well,
at an early age, he had aspirations to be the president of the United States. I think his vision was always so much bigger than what was going on with that. Whatever. I'm kind of with you a little bit on this. I think that he was surrounded by it just by the nature of his family and his business dealings and stuff like that. But I think his aspirations were much higher than what was going on around him. It was just kind of like a product of his environment at the time. And like you were mentioning, it's kind of necessary. You have to be able to play in that, right? You have to know how to operate within those rules of the game in order to get to that next level. You're going to have to get your hands dirty in some manner at some point, no matter how many connections you have, no matter
how do you
how
think
much
that Trump's
money.
gotten his hands dirty?
I think at some point you could possibly get away with it if your family is powerful enough.
It would have come out though if there was something explicit that he'd done. Like, they have to make up shit. They have to make up that he's a rapist with the E. Jean Carroll thing. They had to make up that he was colluding with Russia. Like, if he had something real, they wouldn't have gone to the makeup stage.
I agree with that. But I think his hands are dirtier at a higher level. Like, it's not down on the ground at the island, on the plane, like that. I think he was already above that, and his visions were higher already.
I wouldn't be surprised if he knew that Jeffrey Epstein was trafficking underage girls, and rather than report it, just decided he was going to get out of being related to him, but not do it.
Nobody wants to be a snitch, right?
Well, yeah, he's probably thought, shit, if I snitch on this. But wasn't he one of the only people that ever testified against Epstein?
Good question.
He willingly answered any questions from investigators. I'm pretty sure he's one of the only people that when investigators reached out, he was actually helpful.
Sounds like something he would do.
I know.
By
the way, I went back and started watching the first season of The Apprentice. Oh, it's still great.
It's still good.
Yeah. Have you ever seen it?
No, I've never seen it. I've only seen the commercials.
You know the premise?
Yeah. They bring people in to work underneath him and then they get fired.
Yeah. So it's a game show. It was a reality game show.
Pick up $1 million job.
So yeah, 15 people want to have this badass job as Trump's apprentice, his protege, right? And every episode they get divided into two teams. And the first episode, for example, each team has to have a lemonade stand in New York. And so whichever team sells the most fucking lemonade wins, and nobody from that team then can be eradicated that episode. So the losing team, they have to blame each other for why they didn't have as many sales of the lemonade as the other. And then there's three, it's whittled down to three of them who are the most responsible for the failure. And then Trump sits with them and asks them to defend themselves and decides who gets fired, right? And it's awesome, dude. It is the funniest show ever. And these people are dying to work for Trump, dude. And so anyway, I don't know what my point really is with that, but that whole entire series is absolutely hysterical, entertaining, and it's even better now that he's been the president.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got to watch it, man.
Well, he's still playing The Apprentice even in the White House.
I wish he'd fire more people.
Yeah, I think he wishes he could fire more people.
What do you think about I want to know what you think about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and all this shit going on with the DOJ and the FBI?
I think they never had as much power as they thought they had coming into the jobs. I think these are so many layers above them that they were looking for somebody that had a great personality that people would rally behind. They had a name, they had a reputation, and Trump's big into the influencer world, right?
Yeah, he likes Fox personalities and podcast hosts.
Yeah, Trump's mentality is fuck media. I'm going to give this information to the best influencers that I like, and I'm going to let them disseminate it because they have more trustworthy and honest, platforms than Fox, ABC, NBC.
Yeah, but
whatever,
I bet Trump is watching Fox right now.
Maybe. I mean,
the way I look at Fox is
it's not about what he's watching. It's what is the public watching?
Yeah.
What are they consuming?
And I think Barron really did convince him that the podcast was the way to go for the campaign.
True. Podcast, I think, is great, but it's also just these influencers that have channels and they have good voices, like Benny Johnson. I was watching Benny Johnson's stuff for a long time. And then I found out that he's one of the guys that Trump handpicked to get the folder of information that he disseminates.
Yeah.
So I mean, back to your question, I think Trump understands the public better than most. I think he understands what they want, and maybe he gets a little help from his kids or whatever. But I think he's very good at flexing and molding to how society is shifting over the years as well.
I agree, but don't you think the handling? Not to talk about the Epstein shit so much because it's kind of an old story now, even though what's old is new sometimes. To use the words of Alex Jones.
Well,
don't you think his handling of that was a fucking disaster?
Maybe a little bit. I mean,
he's calling everybody morons. Who's like he's saying that you're my former supporters who want me to come out with the Epstein. You know what I mean? Like, I felt very alienated by the way that he handled people that really wanted to see Epstein transparency.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the way it was handled. I don't understand what's going on there. I don't know if it's him getting old and he's just a little grumpy.
Think Melania is a call girl?
I don't really care if she was or not.
I don't care at all. I never met a whore I didn't like. That's not what I asked.
Gorgeous. I don't think she's actual. I don't think if she was.
Do you think she ever accepted gifts or experiences in exchange for sex? Ever?
Like formally?
Formally, yeah.
No, but I mean, like, listen, she's jumping on private planes. She was drop dead fucking gorgeous. Even if she wasn't an official call girl, she was just a hot chick that got to go everywhere, and
she got to
do everything because she's a fucking hot chick. There's so many girls out there today that are doing the same thing. If you want to call them groupies or whatever the fuck.
I'm not judging. I don't care.
No,
I just think maybe it's the Epstein files.
Maybe. But what I'm saying is, like, Melania, dude, she's gorgeous. She's got great style. She's got great poise. She's like, her temperament is so smooth.
Yeah.
Right. I think she's just an awesome person. And if she got
agree.
roped in with those kind of women, like, I don't give a fuck. I think even if she
Eastern
was
European
a call girl,
bombshell model 1999, like,
even if she was like a call girl, she's still better than the last fucking five fucking first.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? So
I'm not critical. Like I said, man, I never met a whore I didn't like. I'm not one that
it's the first profession ever.
Yeah.
Do people realize that the first job where
America was built on bootstrapping?
Yes, like literally here in America, that is the first paid job in America was whores.
There are monkeys that do it. They do experiments where the monkeys do it, man. Monkeys pimp out female monkeys and shit for bananas and
exactly.
shit. Yeah, dude, it's definitely the oldest profession. I just wish that I was good enough to do it because I'd love to get paid to have
What
sex.
do you think about Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino?
I would say, again, this is my disclaimer. Everything I state is my opinion. It's not fact. I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. But I'll tell you what my gut says. Ice is melting. I would say Kash Patel, sociopath. Closet homo, possibly. I would say Dan Bongino, incredibly good person, had no idea how screwed up everything that he loves is, and now he's dealing with that. I'd say Pam Bondi, dipshit. Dipshit, yeah.
Why do you say that?
She's Attorney General of Florida, right? During all the Epstein stuff. And then here's the deal, man. There are like two types of people. There are entrepreneurs and there are employees. There are valedictorians and there are rabble rousers, right? So
that's four different types of people.
They're the same though. Like you know what I mean? Like an employee is like a valedictorian, right?
I get you. I'm joking.
My point is Pam Bondi is somebody who is mentally wired to please whoever her boss is. She's almost certainly the student in junior high or high school or college that turned in her homework early and it was perfect. She's almost certainly the type of woman who was probably on a very short list of people to give a speech at graduation, right? She was probably well liked by the administration and very popular among the leadership, among the students, right? Whether it was student government or the sororities. She's just the kind of girl who's very good within existing systems of pleasing whoever the stage up is without interfering with the happiness or well-being of anyone laterally, right? So she's good at making Trump happy and making appearances on Fox News, but the job, in order to do it well, requires somebody to break shit. And she's not the type of person that breaks shit. She's not the type of person that you hire to go in and denazify Germany. You know what I mean? Like, you hire General Patton to fuck up, with Rommel, Right. Like, you need somebody that's like fucking slapping the troops when they got PTSD, telling them to wake the fuck up. And so she's good at doing like the Fox News stuff and making all the boomers feel good on television and make Trump look good. And she's pretty, even though she's older. She's well put together, so she's kind of nice to be around. And she never really says anything that offensive other than the thing that she said about red flag laws like 10 years ago. But we can get over that because it was a long time ago. We were all dumb in our youth.
Let it go, Chase. Let it go.
Yeah, but she's like, what the fuck has she done? She goes out with Kash Patel. She brags about the fact that within 7 days, the Department of Justice has captured and charged 200 child predators. I'm thinking to myself, that's 4 per state. And
that's a good point.
You know what I mean? And if you look at the math of like what percentage of the population is likely attracted to underage children, it's like 0.5% or 1%. There's 350 million people in the country. It's like 9 million pedophiles in the United States of America. I assume that more than half of them have acted on it because it's like a compulsion in addition to an orientation or a sickness, right? And you caught 200 of them? Oh, at this rate, by fucking 2175, maybe we'll have half of them locked up. Like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, everyone in America knows what it's like to work in a real job where if you don't bring results, you get fucking fired because everybody has real problems. And if you can't make ends meet, then ends don't get met.
Do you think she deserves to get fired for the job she's done?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this pedophilia crisis we have here in America?
I think that we should kill all of them. In fact, I have the perfect solution to pedophilia. Have we ever talked about this?
No.
What you do is if someone has been found guilty of any child sexual abuse or assault in any capacity whatsoever, I don't care if it's a finger diddle, I don't care if it's a full bang, I don't care if it's a kidnapping, or even just viewing child pornography, any fucking capacity that a pedophile has abused a child either directly or indirectly, this is what you do. You convict them, right? And then you have a lottery, right? Where everybody can pay $5, and every time you pay $5, your name gets entered into the lottery, right? General public. Families get first dibs, but general public, everyone, right? So thousands upon thousands of people, millions upon millions of people, $5 in, right? They raise all this fucking money to combat child sexual abuse. And if your name is pulled from the hat, you get to be one of 10 people on the firing squad that gets to shoot the fucking pedophile in a fucking lineup on a live stream.
That's too easy.
That's how you solve the problem.
That's too easy. Dying by bullet is too easy. That's way too. That doesn't.
They're not even dying though. Isn't it a step in the right direction?
The punishment doesn't fit the crime.
All right,
I'm telling you what I would do along the same lines. I would do the same thing. You do a lottery and maybe you pick 20 winners out of this lottery and everybody pitches in $5 and the money goes to the victims and the families and stuff like that. But I would do just like at one of those little kid carnivals where you have a person sitting in a dunk tank and everybody's trying to hit the thing. Except I would have that dunk tank. No. Boiling, fucking scalding hot
boiling
water.
methylene blue, folks. Get your methylene blue right now. Because for a while, they'll actually be healthier.
Yeah. He's like, man, I'm fucking hurting, but I feel so wide awake.
My body's absorbing so much oxygen, and my mitochondria have an extra electron.
Somebody hit it again. Somebody hit
it again. People are like, I'm not a pedophile, but that boiling water looks pretty good.
He's like dipping his finger in. Who's next?
That's so fucked up. Speaking of pedophiles.
Oh, here we go.
Tell me about Afghanistan.
Oh, fuck, man. You know Afghanistan, all right?
I don't know shit about Afghanistan other than what you told me.
So a little bit about Afghanistan. Yeah, so Chase is talking about the first podcast I ever did was actually going on Chase's podcast. What's it called? America?
We never released it because we were just doing it for the book project, remember?
Yeah, he wanted to test out his new studio that he had
right.
built at his house. So I came over and we drank beers and met his wife. She's lovely. His daughter, she's so freaking cute. Chase has got a great family, great young family. Like, honestly, I
Thanks,
appreciated y'all's
I love 'em.
hospitality very much.
Oh, yeah. Anytime.
But so back to Afghanistan. So I was deployed to Afghanistan twice, and this is not a lot. I've actually never talked about this publicly on air, but Afghanistan was my favorite place to deploy because it felt like it was the wild, wild west. The closest I could get. Like if I could choose which era I would have been born in, it would have been the Wild West. I just like
you would have done well there.
I like how simple it was, and everybody was allowed to be the judge, jury, and executioner in their own life, right? And
got a fair and speedy trial in the Wild West.
exactly. And I really like. Obviously, I wouldn't want the plagues and the lack of penicillin and all these things, but I'd be very happy with the way life was back there. And if you're smart enough, the smart survive, right?
Right.
So Afghanistan was very similar to that. When you're deployed there, you feel like you're going back in history. Everything's brown.
So it felt
dusty.
like, oh shit, this is how things used to be like in Texas
Exactly.
150 years ago.
I guarantee you, Afghanistan was the same back then as it is now.
Yeah.
Maybe they have cell phones now, but that's it.
Okay.
Everything. They're still walking around in robes that got handed down for 5 generations and sandals. And I mean,
Did you ever see like a local Afghani woman? You're like, man, she was fine.
Dude, that's the big misconception. These Afghani women are gorgeous. You think I'm joking with you?
No, I think it's funny because I never would have imagined.
You never see them because they're covered up.
But they're looking good.
Listen, that's interbreeding with Russians over, I don't know, how long were the Russians there?
So the Russians came in and just made them beautiful?
Dude, these girls have like strikingly green, like turquoise eyes,
skin, but like beautiful bright
olive
eyes.
skinned, gorgeous.
Okay.
Like, and sometimes like we'd be there.
They ever come on to you, or they were like, "Hey"?
The little kids are allowed to run freely without the girls can. They don't have to
right,
wear the,
right, because they're not old enough or whatever. Yeah.
But and you'll every now and then you see like one with like blonde hair, striking blue eyes, and completely white skin come running by.
No kidding. Like, what the hell is this fucking European doing here?
Like, it was very strange. But as far as the men, fuck the men in Afghanistan. The biggest fucking pedophiles on this planet live in Afghanistan. We had partner forces that were assigned to us, and we had to patrol with these guys. When you do a patrol, it's very structured. You need to stay in order, right? Because you're worried about a gunfight happening.
Right.
We'd be patrolling, and all of a sudden, two or three of these guys would drop off, and next thing you know, they're sitting down, having a little powwow, Indian style, on the ground, and like 5 or 6 little boys surrounding them, and they're touching them, and they're feeling them, and all these little kids, they had like colored paint and colored like nail polish on their fingers, and they had almost like cattle markings.
And why are the little kids fucking around with these guys? Because they need like food or money or what?
I think it's just normal in their culture. Like, so in their culture, they're not allowed to have sex with women. It's a big sin.
Unless you're married.
But
you can fuck a little boy.
You can fuck boys all day long, and that's exactly what they do.
Because it's not sex.
And so they treat the little boys in these villages as like, that's my property. And that's why they have the nail polish, and that's why they have certain like dyes on their fingers or hands.
So if it's the light blue, that's Muhammad's, and if it's the dark reds, that's that Muhammad's, and if it's yellow, it's that Muhammad's.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some deeper, darker stories that I can't really say on the air, unfortunately, but I think I've told you offline about those.
Yeah, but it was just totally rampant in Afghanistan.
Yeah, it's just
Did you ever meet just like a straight up, bang up great dude there that's like, man, it sucks that I live in this country, but other than that, I'm pretty responsible.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the interpreters that we had were, these guys, they gave up on their country a long time ago because they saw the way it is and the pedophilia. And
they're black-pilled.
Yeah, well, they're on our side now, and that's what happened when. Remember the Afghanistan withdrawal?
Never forget. They're hanging onto the planes.
Debacle plane, people flying.
All those guys, all those
plane
interpreters got
on
fucked.
live fucking TV. It was just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So
the C-17s, right?
So our guys, like all of these veterans that had deployed, we had made close ties with a lot of those interpreters that were with us, and these guys, like, they're all about like. All of the work that they did to protect Americans and save Americans and help us in gunfights and collect. And I mean, like, they completely joined the American side to the point where they had to live on American bases. They could not live outside. They could maybe venture out to grab a few things, but then they had to come back, and they had like their own area within American bases overseas that they were allowed to live and lodge in because they were such huge assets to us, right? There's Cat 3 Terps is what we would bring out there. That's the closest equivalent we could get to these people, right? Cat 3 Terps is basically like a really high paid position where these people grew up in a certain area and they speak the language fluently. They can read it, they can write it, they can comprehend it perfectly, right? But they live in America. And so one of the highest paid positions you can get as a civilian in the military is a Cat 3 Terp. And we would bring them out there, but they might as well be
for interpreter.
They might as well be like teachers, like language teachers, right? That's all they are. They're not good. Most of them didn't even want to carry a gun with them half the time because they don't believe in violence, but they're getting paid so much money that they could come over and they could speak the language, and because you need somebody that really understands all the dialects, right? In the different areas that you're in, right? So we would bring them. The interpreters that were actually, they lived there were way better. These dudes are fucking, they could run and gun with you. They could communicate. They knew how to kit up. They knew how to.
So would you get a firefight and have interpreters there helping you out?
Yeah. Oh yeah. These dudes were
fucking
legit.
wild.
No, these dudes are legit, and they could listen to over the comms. Like we could hear the radios, and they could interpret what's going on, and they could also.
They could tell you what like the fucking Taliban or whatever the fuck we're doing.
They could also, but they could understand like what they're scheming, what they're thinking. Right. So, and that's very important. Like I had one of my senior chiefs, my first deployment when we got over there, he pulled us aside before we split off into our different areas of Afghanistan. And he said, listen, I need to give you guys one last piece of advice. All of the stupid Taliban and ISIS are dead. The only ones that are left are the fucking clever, crafty, smart ones. So watch your fucking backs out there. Don't take anything for granted just because they look like they're fucking nothing and they're wearing robes and sandals and like just because they look like fucking retards doesn't mean they don't know how to fucking kill you. Okay? Like the ones that are left are the ones that survived. Okay?
Wow. That's
right?
a hell of a way to put it.
Yeah. So watch your back. And so, but you get down there and so I did see both sides of it. I saw the pedophilia running rampant. It's disgusting.
It's like super obvious, right?
Yeah.
It's just around.
Oh, it's so obvious.
Because it's not even against the rules.
Yeah. And it's also a huge taboo within the military. You're not allowed to fuck with them. You're not allowed
because
to
you're interfering with their culture.
Well, it's a partner relationship, right? Like, because when you're over there, you have A&A.
So the directive is don't interfere with if you see child sexual abuse.
Yeah. I mean, you can report it up, but what are you going to get?
Yeah, no one's going to do shit if you report it up.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It's like you're using a partner force, right? And this is the way they grew up over there, right? So one of them might be a bad apple and he's out there trying to fuck around and find kids and do all this shit. And it's like, well, if we isolate this guy and expose him, what are the rest of these going to do? Are we going to be in a fucking Mexican standoff with our partner force now? How's that going to look on the grand stage? So,
but if we're going over there to partner with pedophiles, then who's the bad guy?
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, there's a lot of reasons like PTSD derives not just from getting into gunfights. Right. There's a lot of things that you see that you can never unsee.
Dark. It's so dark.
Yeah. And it's just different cultures, different ways of life.
Did you
might not necessarily
did you struggle with that when you came back stateside?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How'd you get through it?
Mushrooms.
It worked?
Oh, yeah. Mushrooms are fucking amazing.
Microdose or hero dose?
I did both. A lot of people will tell you one way or the other. What worked for me was for 2.5 years, I microdosed pretty much every day, at least 4 days out of the work week. I would microdose. And that's like a small, like 1 to 1.5
go
grams.
to work and be functional because you're not tripping balls.
Exactly.
Something's going on.
Yeah, you want to take it early enough to where it kind of hits that Half-Life show like moment, and then you're on the downslide. Because even a microdose can kind of get you a little bit too tingly sometimes, but it's never too much to where you're hallucinating crazy.
Neuroplasticity, and it was just able to rewire your brain to not be fucking constantly thinking about terrible shit.
Exactly. And I would do hero doses on the weekends.
Every weekend.
For about 2.5 years.
And you were literally trying to self-medicate, or was it like drug abuse? How would you define it?
No, it's self-medication.
So you're intentional. Like,
but it was,
for my own well-being, I need to take as much.
It was also it was for recreation too, because
of course it was fun.
At the time, I was dealing with a lot of shit, and it wasn't just memories. It was like behavior issues that I noticed in myself where I had changed quite a bit. Right? I didn't recognize who I was when I left the military. I didn't remember who I was before I came in. Like if I would have met that guy, I'd be like, I know that was me, but I don't remember how I was.
Is there like a change, like you before compared to you after, like buds, right? And then is there a change again from buds to you after a deployment or 2 or 3?
Well, Buds is just the Navy SEAL training.
I know.
to
I'm
get
saying,
to
like,
the teams.
does the training change who you are?
Training certainly does. It's a lot of stress on you.
So you've actually gone through kind of like almost three identities. Because there's like you before military whatsoever.
Yeah,
there's
and
you after training.
Yeah,
or before deployment, and then there's you after deployment.
Well, everything kind of changes, and it's very subtle changes. It's not like you just like snap and you're like, oh, I got back from deployment. I'm somebody different.
Yeah, I used to be gay.
It's a gradual change until one day you're having drinks, and then all of a sudden you wake up and they're like, dude, what the fuck happened last night? Why were you acting like that? And it's like,
What'd I do?
What happened? And they're like, dude, sit down. I'm gonna tell you what you said. You almost started a fight with this guy. Yeah. Like, it's like, and you're like, what the fuck was that? And it's so sometimes it's not, and you're sober day to day. You're still going about your life, and but it's like the in between moments where you start to notice things are happening on a weird scale. I know when I got out, the VA gave me a shitload of medications, right? Because
what'd they try to give you?
They gave me stuff for depression, for anxiety, for nightmares. I would
Xanax.
go to the VA. I had to go like every week or every other week, whatever it was. And they would send me home with huge brown bags of pills.
Oh, fuck.
Huge bags.
And were you looking at that bag like, this is great? Or like, should I even fucking take this?
They're telling me I need to take this, then this is what I'm going to take. So I would take it. But then they're like, if you read the fine, they're like, you cannot drink on this. How the fuck are you going to tell a war veteran they're not allowed to drink?
Have a drink with their buddies.
Exactly. So what do? You take the medications they're telling you to take. You
have a fucking
drinks,
beer.
And then next thing you know, you're blacked out doing crazy shit. And they're like, I would have
fucking wild, dude.
I would have friends coming up to me going, dude, I just want to make sure you're okay. I don't care what happened last night. I just want to make sure you're okay. And I was like, fuck, that's when I realized I had a real big problem. So they would still give me all those bags of pills, but I didn't want to take them because I knew what it was doing when I mixed them.
So you sell them to a local grade school.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would throw them under my bathroom sink. And I mean, by the end of the year, the whole sink was filled with brown bags full of pills.
And you started taking better, or excuse me, you started getting better.
No, I wasn't getting better. I was just like, it didn't cure my PTSD symptoms that I had and my change in personality and disposition and all these things. It didn't change any of that, but I didn't have the effects when I was drinking. Right. I could still drink and not do fucking crazy ass shit. Then one of my buddies, Rick Anstrom, came along one day. And he just wanted to come say hi. I was another Navy SEAL that was living in the same town as him. He shows up. He's like, dude, let's grab a beer, catch up. I want to know what team you're at, like all this stuff. So we sit down, and immediately, it's like he had seen this. So he saw the same thing he had in himself in me at the time. So he's like, he drew the parallels real quick and started asking the right questions to figure out how I was doing. And then very quickly, we got on the subject of psychedelics, and he's like, have you ever tried microdosing with mushrooms or hero doses of mushrooms? And I was like, no.
You've never done any psychedelics before? Like,
I did it once in high school.
Yeah.
And it was fun. We were laughing our asses off for like 3 hours, but I had never done it to cure anything, or like take it like a medicine. And so he's like, dude, I'm going to hook you up with a bag of this stuff, and I'm going to give you a contact on how you can get more. He goes, I recommend you start taking this. I think you're going to see a big difference in your life. And so I was like, all right, roger that. Fuck it, whatever. What I had to lose at this point, I wasn't happy. I couldn't find my way in life. I couldn't find sufficient money to provide for my family. I was like a shell of my former self, if that makes sense. So I started taking it, and I mean, instantly. It was just like, it's like I had all these walls all around me at all times, and I didn't even realize that they were there. They had just built up over the years. Like, somebody pissed me off, I got into a fight, wall there. Anytime that ever happens again, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to block it. Like, I'm not emotionally block that. Or if I see anything over here, or I hit a certain level of anxiety or a certain level of noise, right? All these different things, I had so many walls up. As soon as I took the mushrooms, like, all those walls went away. And I could suddenly feel the feelings that I couldn't feel before I had the mushrooms in my life. Music sounded better. Colors look prettier.
Sure.
Like, I would take it and I would go for a run, and it felt like I was gliding.
Oh, yeah.
It felt amazing. And I was like, what is this? Like, I haven't felt this happy, like, internally.
Since you're a little kid.
Since I was like a really young kid.
I know it's like, I've done psilocybin
like
before.
gleeful almost, And so, so then I'm like, all right, I'm in, I'm sold. you know? And so I started taking it religiously. I would take it microdose. And then on the weekends, whenever the kids were asleep, I would take a big dose and I would just like go through the motions.
You ever have a bad trip
Oh yeah, I've had tons of them.
where you have to just deal with it? It's fucking shit.
You just deal with it, dude, because and, like no trip is ever the same. You
Right.
take big, huge doses of mushrooms and it's going to take you on a ride. No matter
You can't control where you're going. You're,
You
you're just
can't.
going
And it-
somewhere.
and
Maybe
that-
it's a bad part of town.
mushrooms always give you what you're missing at the time, even whether or not you realize it.
So you really believe that the substance kind of in a way has its own intention for you?
Oh, it certainly does. Yeah,
Wow.
it connects you on a level with the earth where you feel like I could feel internally if I'd been drinking too much, I could feel it in my liver at the time. I could.
So you take
feel
shrooms
certain
and your
things.
liver is like, "Hey man, listen,
Yeah,
take it easy."
It forces you to listen.
Or if you're smoking too much, your lungs are like, "Hey man,
Exactly.
listen, take it easy."
Yeah, and you go. Your normal habit is to pick up a smoke at this time, like whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, nah, I don't want it this time. You know,
That's fucking wild.
it's crazy. I don't know what. I mean,
Did I ever tell you about my psilocybin experience?
Tell me about it.
So I decided I was going to do it before I had kids because my paranoia around psychedelics is I don't want a radical shift in state of mind or personality if I'm on a productive streak because there are people that depend on me. So
Sure.
that's been my paranoia, but especially LSD more than shrooms. It's like, look, what happens if I take LSD and I decide that I want to be a fucking visual artist and I fucking, I quit my job and my kids, whatever. I'm like, I don't want to fuck with that. Right now I'm hustling, and it's working and I'm doing what a good man's supposed to do in a rock wall painting, right? So I decided I was going to have this psychedelic experience before I had kids, because if it went bad, at least there aren't little kids that suffer. And so I do this psilocybin that I got from this guy on the dark web that's since been, I think, arrested. And he made like millions of dollars making this. I think he was like a chemistry teacher. It's like a Walter White story. And I take the fucking, I think it was 4 grams or whatever. Like
Was it stem and cap or was it capsules?
It was not capsules. It was a liquid, and I drank.
Oh,
it.
a liquid.
It was like a tincture, and you
I've
the
never
dropper.
done that actually.
Yeah, and the guy would grow the psilocybin mushrooms, then he would extract the whatever the psilocybin, and he would make a tincture, and then if you drank it, like 4 milligrams or whatever, it was dosed out for you. It was very almost like pharmaceutical. It was like you get it, and it was like, holy shit, this looks like something I could have got from CVS. Like the dude was a pro, So I took it, and I just remember sitting in my shitty apartment in California because that's the only thing you can afford when you're there. And I'm staring at this fucking beige drywall. And I had a buddy come over to keep an eye on me because, the first time you do it, you're kind of nervous and excited. And I was like, I want somebody sober. That's not my nagging wife to come over. My wife's a beautiful woman, but oh my God, whatever. You don't want to have somebody bothering you when you're tripping, right?
Yeah, unless they're doing mushrooms.
Right.
That's fine.
And I remember I start seeing like this. I don't know if you've ever seen the Disney movie Mulan, but there's like this montage in the animated version of it from the 90s that I watched when I was a little kid where like there's like the Japanese drawing of the ink on paper and it's all the pretty fucking ancestors and shit. I remember sitting and looking at the wall and I start seeing this like weird ink being drawn on the wall, and it's this image being drawn, not just random shapes or colors, but it's this image of a man sitting like profile, from the side, right? Straddling some like giant eagle with its wings stretched out. Never seen that image before in my life. I Google it the next day. I describe it. I say, all right, what's this like symbol of a man sitting on a bird with its wings? It says Zoroastrian, which is the religion of Iran before Islam. The Zoroastrian symbol of spirit guide. So I'd never seen this symbol before. It's drawn on the wall while I'm like tripping and like seeing fake faces and like thinking about my existential life and my purpose. And I just see the drawing of like what means spirit guide in an ancient symbol that I can fucking Google. And it was like, holy shit. Like I was almost there.
What country is that from?
Iran.
Iran.
The
Do you have any relation to Iran?
No.
You sure?
No. I mean, if I look at my 23andMe genetics, it goes back to Hamburg, Germany.
Have you done that?
Yeah, I did. I made the mistake of giving my DNA to a company.
So out of all people,
I've been in Infowars for 2 years. Before that, I was a normie. I was a normie until 2021. Until 2021, I was a normie. I was a conservative normie.
that stuff too. That totem stuff's really good.
But it was a wild experience because I'd never seen that symbol before. So, when you hear people talk about doing DMT or mescaline or something else, you think, all right, that's a really cool story, But what's to say it's not just your brain doing bullshit? Like you say that you saw the fucking elves, right, on the other side. What's to say that's not just like an experience that makes sense scientifically? We just haven't figured out why yet, right? But then when you see something drawn on the wall that you know you've never seen before, and then you Google it the next day when you're not tripping balls, and there's an explanation for it that's explicitly spiritual, it makes you wonder whether or not you're actually tapping into the other side. Like
So
Jim
you
Morrison
felt
would
it?
say. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I used to call it? If like it feels very feminine. It feels like a very feminine spirit comes into your reality.
It's funny that you mentioned that because all the hallucinations of faces that I saw were feminine.
Yeah, it's I call it mama mushroom. I don't know where the hell I was on
No
a really
shit.
big trip one day, and I just coined it mama mushroom.
Do you ever
at the
like
time.
interact with
It feels like
entities? Do you ever have a conversation with something that isn't there? You ever get that far? It's more of an acid thing than a shroom
no.
thing.
I'll tell you one of the things that I did one time was I had this habit because like I told you I would wait till the kids went to bed and I
Yeah.
would take like the big doses.
Right.
And one of the things I like to do when everybody was asleep and I'm like fucking tripping hard is I would go and play Red Dead Redemption 2, the video game.
God, it's so
and
good.
And I'm not a big gamer.
Do you
Like,
ever
I'm really not. But when it comes to certain games like that, I told you I wanted to be born in the Western days.
You're not doing the cannibal mission, are you? While you're
Dude, I did. I told you it was 2.5 years of this, so I was able to get through that whole game and like all
you
of
beat the whole game tripping?
all of it.
No way!
The entire
Dude,
thing.
that is, I've beaten that game probably 6 times.
Yeah.
Never tripping.
Oh, dude, it's so surreal. Like it changes the game. Like,
Yeah, of course.
if you like the game in
Aesthetically
reality,
beautiful, charming. And
no,
its own way.
I'm talking about like you go into the game.
So you actually lived in the Wild West like you always wanted.
Live in the Wild West, like the trees and like everything.
No way.
You start like you know how normally you could take like the fast path, like you could jump on a train and it'll take you there faster or whatever. Nah, fuck that. When you're tripping on
I'm
mushrooms,
riding all the way
you
from
enjoy-
Valentine to
Yeah.
San Denis.
you enjoy the ride, brother. You enjoy the ride, and you get like all into like the emotions of the characters and the like. You see so much
You're
of the
not,
game.
you're not skipping any of the cutscenes.
Even the music.
Yeah.
The music. Like I'm telling you, on mushrooms and music,
Unshaken.
hits
That song Unshaken
so much
too.
harder. Like, and so you're into it. That game was meant to be played on mushrooms. I'm telling you, go back, start it over,
Dude,
and play from the beginning.
I'm taking a week off. I'm coming back. You and I are going to take turns doing missions.
Yeah. No, but I'm telling you, like mushrooms, it saved my life. It really did.
Now, did you cut it out, or do you still do it every once in a while?
I don't need it anymore. That's the
So
crazy
what
thing.
you graduated?
It's not habit
You
form.
graduated from it.
I graduated from it. Yeah. Like I'll still do it if other people are there and they want to do it because I know a lot of people, they need other people to do it with them to feel comfortable.
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it with you. But
Did you ever take any drugs while you were overseas, while you were on deployment?
no.
Because, like, you know, all the Vietnam movies, they're always doing heroin, like, in the fucking field.
No,
Were there
but I
people
mean,
doing
we
drugs
walked
over
through,
there?
we walked through fucking hundreds of fields of poppy.
Were you ever ordered to guard a poppy field?
No. Mm-mm.
Is that something that happened?
No. I mean, it's the locals' only source of money out there.
Right, but most of that, a lot of that opium had to go to the pharmaceutical companies here in the United States because they produce like 91.
I'm sure in some roundabout way. I think Afghanistan provides at least 90% of the opium worldwide.
So do you think the whole reason we were over there might have been because the pharmaceutical companies needed a consistent supply of opium?
I doubt it. I think it's just a byproduct.
Why do you think we were fucking there?
I think the only reason they grow opium there is because it remains a war country. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't fly anywhere else. The population wouldn't allow it. The government wouldn't allow it.
Because you have to grow it somewhere if you're going to make painkillers, right?
It's got to grow somewhere. Yeah. So it's good. It's a good point of view. Do you think that that's why we're there?
I think the reason that we were in the Middle East was to protect the petrodollar.
How so?
So a lot of people would say that, oh, we're going to go into Iraq because we want their oil. But we don't fucking need oil. We have plenty of oil here in the United States that we could drill for anytime we want. Sometimes we argue over whether or not we should drill our own oil, not whether or not we have enough oil.
Mm.
And I think that we get involved in these wars in the Middle East to ensure that the major oil producers trade oil in dollars. So we don't need the oil, but we need the oil to be traded in dollars to create an artificial demand for our fiat currency.
Hmm.
And I think that's why we overthrew Gaddafi in Libya, because he was talking about alternative currencies and not using the dollar. That's why we have conflict with Iran, because we sanction them with the U.S. dollar all the time. So they constantly are interested in alternatives to the U.S. dollar, BRICS, things like that. China wants a different thing. Russia wants a different thing. And I think that Saddam Hussein wanted a different thing than the U.S. dollar for trading oil. And I think the real reason that we were involved in the Middle East was to protect ensuring that oil be traded worldwide in U.S. dollars to create demand for a currency that's otherwise worthless.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense.
When you were there, what do you think we were there for?
It's such a complicated issue. I mean, as a soldier,
what do you think happened on 9/11?
As a soldier, you're not there to.
Was it about 9/11? Was there any connection to 9/11 to like what you were doing? Like, get these guys, remember what they fucking did in New York?
Well, your job is to track down terrorists.
Yeah.
Right?
There's certainly a lot of terrorists there. They fucking hate us, right?
I mean, at least that's the mission that, we were sold. Whether or not it was true, I hope so. I hope that everything me and my brothers did wasn't just for naught, for some stupid political game or some petrodollar.
Regardless of whether it was for a bad reason, it was still noble what you did.
No, I appreciate that. But, it's that is definitely a question that a lot of veterans struggle with, Like, is what we did done for the right reasons?
You're fighting for your guys, though, right? I mean, I'm not a vet. I'm not a military guy. I don't know. I really try hard not to pretend to know.
Yeah.
But when I look at things, I naturally try to have an opinion quickly, especially given the work that I do being on air for Infowars and things like that. And if I was in a position where I had to fight in a war like that, as somebody who doesn't really necessarily believe in the message of the war itself, I think my guys would be enough.
Of course.
You just fight for your guys.
Yeah. Well, you spend a lot of time with your guys.
Yeah.
Your platoon mates, you're spending months and months. You're spending at least 80% of the year. Even if you're not deployed, you're spending it training with them on training trips. Like, they would take us.
It's just crazy to me that they can deploy you and there's not like really a clear explanation as to why you're doing what you're doing. Like, just following orders has to be enough.
Well, that's the job. That's the
job.
That's the job. You take orders. You're putting faith in your leadership.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And
but you don't even have to put faith.
You don't.
They don't give a fuck if you have faith in them. They just want you to follow the order.
That's the whole goal. That's why you go through boot camp and you go through Navy SEAL training. And
does it break you down in boot camp to the point like where like does it? They say like the hippies say that hey, the purpose of boot camp is to destroy you and then build you up into the soldier that they need you to be.
Of course.
Like, do you find that to be true?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it breaks people down. That's the whole goal. It's to shatter your illusion of what you thought life was.
Do you remember the moment
You're treated like a prisoner when you walk in through the gates?
Do you remember the moment that you changed from Shawn Johnson to the soldier?
I don't know. There wasn't no definitive moment that I changed. It's just like I said earlier. It's a gradual change in the military. Like, it's so gradual, but by the time you do something that's completely out of character for you, and you look back and you go, "How the fuck did that happen?"
What was the first thing you did that was out of character?
Well, one of the things. I mean, I can't use names or places, but.
Guilty.
Some of my friends had taken me out to this after hours kind of, we'll call it a golf club, all right? And we're hanging out with them, and when you're a Navy SEAL, everybody wants to buy you a drink and shake your hand.
Yeah, you're a fucking badass.
Yeah, like everybody wants to.
I feel that way
sit
about
down
you.
and give you stories.
Yeah,
but it's not just like because they think you're cool. It's also like because in some circles, it's like that's status quo. I have a friend that's a Navy SEAL. Oh, I have a friend that's a Navy SEAL. You know what I mean? It becomes kind of like this
I name
game,
dropped you all the fucking
and you
time.
feel that you're getting pulled different directions, and
Yeah.
at a certain point, you start to question like, what's the purpose of this? Are they really my friends, or are they just doing this so they can like have this notch in their belt?
I see.
And
You're just another notch on the bedpost.
yeah. So, I mean, one time we were out at a bar and I had probably 30 different people coming up and trying to buy me shots and buy me beers. This is back when I was taking my medication. So
Pre-shrooms, the actual medications.
shrooms. Yeah, this was like right after I had gotten out and got back here. So we're out and we're hanging out and I don't know what happened. Next thing I know, I wake up. I had blacked out when I was sitting at the bar and I came to my senses when we were in the car ride home from this place. And my buddy was looking at me and he's like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What happened?" And he goes, "Well, everything was fine. Everybody was hanging out. You were laughing. You were loving everybody. And then something happened. Somebody said something to you and you just snapped and you were trying to kill this guy. And then you looked at everybody else like they were all with him or they were in on this. This is some sick joke. Next thing you know, you start fucking tearing this place apart. You were grabbing shit off the walls and fucking smashing
You
it.
throwing up furniture and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough
Type of
night.
shit,
It was a rough night, and he's like, you took one person as a perceived like attack on you, and
Right.
then you just assumed everybody else was the same way as that guy.
You went into like war mode, berserker.
Basically, yeah, I went into fucking Hulk mode.
Does the PTSD kick in before you come back from deployment, or does it always seem to kick in after you
it
leave?
certainly
a war zone?
does, in my opinion. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's bio makeup is different than my own, but in my opinion, it happens to guys during their service in there.
You seen it?
Of course. You see guys that have been enlisted much longer, guys that have been in the teams much longer, which is part of the reason I wanted to get out earlier. I'm not saying this is true for everybody,
Sure.
but I'm saying that I saw in a lot of the older guys that they didn't look happy. I'll tell you that.
A lot of guys get addicted to deployments.
You know,
Right? They always want to go back. Like, I don't know if it's true because it's Hollywood. But
It
the
is.
American Sniper movie. Like,
It's
the
a
whole,
rush.
The whole plot of that movie was like, I always wanted to go back. Always wanted to go back. Is that a real thing?
Deployments are fun. Deployments are a rush. That's like you're risking your life. You're getting those dopamine hits.
How long are you over there for at a time?
6 to 9 months.
Can you get laid when you're over there?
Not supposed to.
Jesus. I don't think it's good for a man to go 6 months without getting laid. I had a 6-month dry spell one time when I was single, and I started getting weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, you start getting like self-conscious and introverted and weird. Like it's like in the Bible. It says it's not good for man to be alone. That's what God says in the beginning. That's why he makes Eve. Like, I don't think a man is supposed to go 6 months without getting any pussy. No fucking way. I'm not trying to be obtuse here or ridiculous or inappropriate, but they're asking you to go over there for 6 to 9 months without getting laid whatsoever. What the fuck they think is going to happen? Of course you're going to tear shit off walls.
Well, and there's also no alcohol policy there either.
Do you drink when you're over there?
No.
Who makes the alcohol?
Huh?
Where do you get is there alcohol there like
Well, you
made?
can get
Can you
shipments.
get like a Miller Lite when you're there?
There's these things called care packages.
So people can ship you a warm beer.
Yeah, it takes forever to get.
You're not supposed to drink the whole fucking. They want you to be a fucking Mormon warrior.
Yeah, basically.
That's fucked up.
Oh no, I've had many debates with officers too that have gotten
What are you
out.
supposed to fucking do, man?
Nothing. Sleep, work out, eat, and
You're only allowed to eat, work out, and fucking kill insurgents.
basically that's what they want you to do. So
Is there any like a fucking like a suck up that like actually follows all the rules? Like, what happens to the guy that's like,
course.
oh, we're not supposed to drink, so I'm not going to. Like, what happens to that fag?
what do you
Dead in the first week. They always always fucking die in the first firefight.
No, I mean everybody's different. I mean some people follow the rules.
I can't imagine going to war without getting some pussy and some booze.
Yeah, man. I mean that you're not there for that. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't go there to get laid or have booze.
One of the
but, like,
things
come
is
on,
to
it's like
stay
a Coke.
mission ready. Okay, so a lot of
Sure.
these ops, it's not like, hey, we're gonna do this op next Friday. Okay, we're gonna do it at
Did
3
you
p.m.
join the Zoom meeting for the briefing before the deployment?
Yeah, we're gonna get there at 3 p.m. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up around 7 p.m. and we're gonna head back to base, and then you could crawl in for bed. Like no, it's like you're sitting around, you're waiting, you're eating, you're working out. You got to stay sober because anything could drop at any time.
Yeah.
And I get that.
I get that too.
Yeah, but I always thought they could mix it in with a little bit of balance because obviously if you just came back from a 72-hour op where you had like maybe 4 hours of sleep the entire time, you're gonna get back. You're not gonna opt for a day or two.
Right.
It wouldn't make sense.
Of
They're gonna
course.
allow you to rest for 2 days before.
But there's
you
no
become
hookers
op
or
ready.
anything to like just fucking get your rocks off.
No, there's no. You're on American basis, buddy. Like. I don't
Are
know
you
what kind
allowed-
of vision. I think you have this Vietnam vision of
Maybe.
war.
Maybe.
Like, if we're not free floating around the country. Like,
Yeah.
there's military
You're
bases.
not going out into the jungle for 47 days at a time.
It's called inside the wire and outside the wire.
Right, I'm
And
familiar
when-
with that expression.
You know what I mean? And when
Yeah.
you're outside
Enemy
the
on
wire,
the wire means they're fucking in the base, right?
yeah, when you're outside the wire, and this is also Afghanistan. This is like you don't want to find a hooker in Afghanistan, buddy. Like, trust me. Like,
I thought you said they were beautiful.
there's some that are, but
But
I
they're all
promise you,
married.
all the beautiful ones are being locked in a room and nobody else can look at them or touch them or nothing. The ones that are not married are rough. I'll tell you a story. We had these things called female engagement teams, FET teams,
Love that.
and these girls' job was so in Afghanistan, men soldiers are not allowed to talk to female locals. Okay.
Okay.
Like it's very taboo.
If you're an
And
Afghani soldier.
it'll make your partner forces and it'll make the men around them very upset if another male, especially an American male, is talking to their wife or their sister or daughter or whatever.
Okay. They seem
So
to be
you're not allowed to
touchy
do
about
that. So
women.
we brought FET teams with us, and their job was to go and speak with the women. And the women had a shitload to say. So the FET teams would go out. They'd have their own
What does
interpreter.
FET stand for?
Female engagement team.
Okay.
Okay. So they would go and they could interact and they would have these long conversations with the wives. And some of these men would have 4, 5, 6, 7 wives. So they'd get to talk to all of them. And one of the stories one of them came back with was
I can tell I'm going to love this.
so we're sitting around a campfire and she's like, oh my fucking God, you won't believe this story this lady told me. And then we go, what happened? She goes, she reaches in her pocket, she pulls out this rock, and it's like probably like the size of this glass.
Okay.
Right?
Like a real stone.
She pulls out this rock and we're like, what the fuck is that? And it was like a very polished looking rock, you know? And she's like, this woman gave it to me. And we go, why'd she give it to you? And she goes, this is her dildo.
Why does the FET team have the fucking...
She goes, this is my dildo. Or this is her dildo.
It was a smooth one.
She let me borrow it. She said I looked like I needed to get laid. So she gave me her rock dildo, and she said, this rock is very good. This is the best dildo rock you've ever seen in your life.
Why the fuck are we over there? Why the fuck are we over there, dude? What the fuck are we doing with these people?
But then that woman sang like a canary after she connected with her on that level. That
after
woman's
she's like, I'll use
my
your
husband's
dildo
a
too."
fucking piece of shit. He's been straight up. She's like, he's been talking to Taliban. They come over here, fucking sold his ass out in a heartbeat. Straight up.
As soon as she connected on the dildo level, she spilled all the fucking beads.
Yeah. She's like, thank you very much.
Yeah, I got to pretend that I'm really excited about this.
She's like, anybody got any hand
My
sanitizer?
fucking God, dude.
Yeah, it's wild.
That is fucking wild. And you don't hear about that on Fox News
No.
when they're covering the war.
No, of course not.
What do you think about the mainstream media?
What do I think?
Yeah. Would you guys ever watch any coverage of the war while you were over there and be like, what the fuck? They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, we didn't get to watch the mainstream media when we were there. They had Air Force or Armed Forces Network, AFN. That's the only thing that would come through.
Any good? It's propaganda.
No, it's like, it's like a high school news channel, basically.
And now we're advancing on the city, and it looks like the soldiers.
No, they wouldn't talk about that. They would try to like lift your spirits by this is news from back where you're not allowed to be right now. You know, like dumb shit.
That's
like,
weird.
The Cowboys just lost in the playoffs, you know, kind of shit. Like it was just very.
How often could you talk to somebody back home while you were over there?
We had
Satellite phone type
allotted.
shit?
Yeah, we had sat phones, but not everybody got to have them. Our units typically had 1 or 2, but then it depended on what base you were at. Right, like most people, military personnel that deploy, especially to places like Afghanistan, they're on big bases and they're inside the wire the entire time. They have fucking KFCs in there. They have TGIFs in there.
They got like a per diem and they just can buy whatever the fuck they want.
Ice skating rink in it.
No fucking way.
Yeah, like
we're building ice skating rinks over in Afghanistan.
It's like and it's like all intermixed in there is like a flea market. You ever been to a legit flea, like Mexican flea market?
Yeah.
So that's what kind of feels like an American base there. So it's like shit that was probably like Beats
like
by
a movie
Dre
theater?
that wasn't actually made. It's not actual Beats by Dre.
Right.
It was like a Chinese.
It's like when you get off the cruise in Jamaica and they got
exactly.
Right.
It's that kind of crap. It's just enough to make you get by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little taste of back home. You know, well, we weren't stationed on those bases. If we were, it was like for one night, and then we would go back outside the wire. We would be stationed on smaller outposts.
You were doing
where we had none of that
doing
shit.
real Red Dead shit.
Yeah, like our supply drops would come in on like planes. Like when
They drop a fucking crate like Call of Duty.
Yeah, we would call in like, water, MREs, shit like that, and it would come in and crash. So half of the fucking water pallets would just bust into oblivion because they landed in the wrong
They landed
angle.
too hard. Yeah.
And so that was our typical life. When we got to go to the big bases, it was like, all right, everybody load up. We would get like fucking cans of nicotine. We would get like snacks.
They don't issue smokes anymore though, do they?
No,
can you buy a pack of Lucky Strikes if you want?
I can't remember if you could buy cigarettes but we could always send our interpreters out into town to buy smokes. Right. So, I mean, there's certain, you get enough creature comforts and along with the care packages that your loved
What if you want a
send.
Playboy? Can you get a Playboy?
No, you can't get a Playboy out there. but you don't really need to. There's like community hard drives that you can use. Like, so when you own those big bases, they have community hard drives where you can go and plug in, and they have, I mean, terabytes of all movies, all
the Epstein
shows,
files,
everything that anybody's deposited into this hard drive over all the years.
So everyone's trying to throw each other a bone, like, "Hey, guys,
Exactly.
watch the Matrix.
Yeah,
here's the
there's
fucking Matrix.
There's always a section.
Here's Debbie Does Dallas.
Yeah, there's always an triple X section where you can get whatever you need, and
It's fucking wild, man.
It's crazy.
Nobody ever talks or thinks about this shit.
Yeah, it's like you're in prison, but
Tell
in
me what you
another
think
country.
of Jocko Willink.
What do I think of Jocko? I
Yeah.
don't know him personally. I've actually never met Jocko. Our paths haven't crossed.
As a
yet.
layman in America, I really like Jocko.
I think he's a great person. I honestly, I've talked about this before, but like, there's a taboo within the teams about talking about the teams outside of the teams.
Yeah, I get it.
Does that make sense?
I get it.
You're supposed
Frat
to be
secrets.
quiet, silent professionals, and you're not supposed to go out and write books, and you're not supposed to do all this.
But they all do now.
Not all of them. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't. They'll never do it, and it's just like, I have a solemn vow, I would never do that. Whatever.
Right.
But when I was in the teams, I was kind of like confused. I'm like, why is it not okay? I mean, one of the reasons I joined is because the stories and the movies that like the books I read and the movies that I watched.
Right.
That's
When I
what
watched
motivated
Band of
me.
Brothers and he got that rock dildo,
Yeah.
I was so inspired.
Yeah, exactly. So when I see guys like Jocko or David Goggins, like all these guys, like, you might not like them. Maybe they weren't the perfect soldier when they were in the teams, or maybe they didn't live up to your expectations on what's a good Navy SEAL or whatever it is. But they're necessary because these guys have a great platform, a great voice, and they're encouraging the next generation of Navy SEALs to come up. And we need a constant influx of future Navy fucking badasses.
I like
coming up.
David Goggins.
Yeah,
He's the fucking man.
He's the man. He's great.
Him fucking sending that text message to Joe Rogan on his birthday.
Yeah, it's great.
It's one of the best fucking
No, that's
text
great.
messages I've ever heard read.
So, I mean, but it doesn't matter. Like, even me, I'm going to face ridicule from the teams. I
Why?
already
Because you
know
have a
that.
podcast?
Because I have a podcast, because whatever.
But you're not really exploiting the SEAL thing. Like, I'm asking you a lot of SEAL shit. You're not like, hey, come on my podcast so I can talk to you about when I was in the SEAL.
I know. But I've accepted that. Once you cross over the line into, I'm okay to talk about it publicly.
Yeah.
You crossed into a realm that you cannot come back now. And that's,
Sure.
and I remember being on the other side going, fuck, am I ever going to do that? I don't want to do that. I don't want to be exposed to the critiques and the questions and all the
Those
stuff.
fags are just jealous that you're fucking talking about it.
No, I get where they're coming from, because there is some stuff. Like, there's certain like tactics, techniques, and procedures, like tactical type shit, where if I talk too much about a certain thing, it could endanger people overseas.
Oh, of course.
You know what I
that
mean?
makes sense.
Right? Like,
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not talking about that, though. Like, you're
Yeah.
just telling me what it was like to sit at
Yeah.
a campfire with the
Like,
fucking fat team showing you the rock dildo.
Yeah,
That's not really endangering anyone's
yeah,
life.
Exactly.
You know?
I agree with
Now
that.
they're not giving us any of their dildos. And they're
Yeah.
not telling us about any of their husbands.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll give you an example. There was a movie that came out, and they were showing how Navy SEALs were entering into a house. Okay, so
was it American Sniper?
I'm not going to say the name of it, but they were showing how Navy SEALs were stacking on the door before they made entry into a house. Okay,
Frowned upon.
well, you just showed the enemy our tactics. So where before they were setting up IEDs over here and over here and over
Now
here,
they're setting them up
Now
in
they
this
know
manner.
you're stacking on the door in this manner, so they were setting up here.
Yeah.
So now you got guys that are enemies that are downrange that are watching this movie going, oh, they stack right here. There's 4 guys. We're going to move that IED right there next to their
Right.
fucking head. If that's what they're doing, right? So it's stupid. It's like, don't do that. Like, obviously, it's a mistake, but for the purpose of entertainment, these guys don't know.
But don't
We
they
take
know, though?
classes
Like,
on that.
because you fucking busted down so many fucking doors. We have, as
Yeah.
a nation, and busted down so many fucking thousands of doors in the Middle
Yeah.
East. Don't they fucking know how we bust down doors?
You would think, but they don't communicate like we communicate over there.
They're not like
It's not
posting.
like
They're,
they're
not
all-
posting on Instagram like, by the way,
Exactly.
guys, this is how they're doing it.
Yeah.
Tag at Taliban.
Taliban rock.
yeah.
Yeah.
Taliban, check this out, Taliban.
Yeah, so they don't have that kind of communication channels, and a lot of the shit that they do, we can.
Do they have
block it.
Instagram accounts?
No, fuck no.
What are they
I
doing?
think they have WhatsApp, maybe.
That's not even a fucking social media. Do they do any social media shit?
Nah, I don't
They don't.
think so.
There's not fucking like Telegram. Dude, listen, you and I do business.
Yeah.
We're starting Telegram.com, where everything is censored except the terrorist shit.
They'd be like, Ahmed, Little Jamal is mine. Stop fucking following him.
Yeah, all the profile pictures are like a solid like pastel blue for the nail polish instead of black for Black Lives Matter.
That's all their goats.
Yeah, they fuck the goats too.
Yeah, it happens.
You've seen it?
Yeah, we got.
Have you ever watched a man fuck an animal through a scope?
Not through a scope, but I've seen it on like imaging. Like, yeah, yeah.
I fucking hate Muslims, dude.
Yeah,
I do. I swear. I know people say I'm Islamophobic. I'm fine with that. Like, you're not supposed to fuck an animal.
Oh, I agree. No, trust me. I agree.
So like what? So the guys will be like, "Hey man, Shawn, you gotta check this out. This guy's fucking this animal," and you go watch it. And be like, "Dude, why'd you show me that?" Like that's the conversation.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like I said, you're spending a lot of time at these bases, and there's a lot of time to sit around, and you have a lot of TV screens with cameras that are pointed all around the base, and there's infrared cameras. And
what's the average person like in Afghanistan?
The average person?
Yeah, like what are they doing all day?
They do fucking nothing.
It's like, is anybody going to work at like a local tax fucking TurboTax and like helping their fucking Taliban make sure they got all their...
nobody works. They only work during harvest season.
So it's totally agrarian.
Yeah, they do nothing. One time we were on an op, and one of the things we had to do was we had to take over this home. Okay, so the residents, we basically broke into their home in the middle of the night, and
so they hate you already.
No, they don't. They hate us. They're pretty docile for like as long as they're not Taliban or ISIS. Like the people there, like they got nothing better going on. Well, this is interesting.
Right.
The most interesting thing I've seen in 7 years. Kind of thing. So we went into their home very politely. We said, hey, we're going to be taking over your house for the night because we are looking for somebody. We're not going to hurt you guys. We're just going to set you right here. You guys can stay in this room. We're going to give you plenty of food and water, and we'll give you money for the time that we're here. So we're definitely going to take care of you, okay? But you don't have to worry about anything. We need your house for this one night. And we ended up staying there for 2 nights, I think, actually. So on one of them, I was stationed. So you're always holding watch, right? On these ops, you can't just fall asleep. Everybody falls asleep together. It's like there's always somebody up on the wall keeping watch. And the houses there are not built like U.S. houses where we have a roof and we have walls. It's like you have walls, mud walls that make this big square rectangle shape.
Right.
And then you might have like everything's built for war. So there's no roof on top of it. There's no perch on top of this. It's like open air. It's like an open whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
And then along the edges of the wall, there's a walkway, like a castle style, right? They make all of their homes or compounds in the shape of like
over the wall
a
if you
castle. Exactly. So they can get up on there and they can, if they're in a gunfight or whatever it is. So we would hold watch on the castle perches around the outer perimeter of the compound. And it was my turn. I had like an 8-hour watch, and I had, I forget what it's called, periscope. You remember those? Like where you,
yeah,
and then you can like, you can twist it and you can like look through the hole at the bottom. I can't remember if it was called a periscope or whatever. But so I would sit there, and I sat there, and literally I only had one direction I could see, and it was the neighbors, and they had no idea we were there. They had no fucking clue we were there the whole time, 2 days, ever. So for 8 hours, I watched these people, and it was like the early shift. It was like from like just before the sun came up, so like 5 a.m. until like 3 p.m. was my watch shift. And so for that entire time, I watched this family get up. The mom, and I think it was her brother. It's either her husband or her brother. Their interaction felt more like mom and uncle kind of thing. And then there was like one little kid. The mom and the uncle, perceived uncle, they go and they sit down on this like, I guess like a back porch or whatever you would call it, dirt floor. Right. They sit down there and they're doing nothing. And they're just sitting in this style, not even talking, just sitting there. And there was one little kid. The little kid would run out there, and there was like the most mangy looking little chickens you've ever seen in your life.
They're hungry.
They're the size of pigeons, but they're chickens.
Okay.
And they're dirty and they're nasty. The little boy would go out there, no underwear, no clothes. I think he maybe had a t-shirt on, but nothing else. And they just like squat, take a shit in the middle of the
There's no bathroom, plumbing, or anything?
No. And he would just take a shit in the yard, and then he would run back inside, and the mom and the uncle just sat there for 8 hours, never got up, never did a fucking thing. That little kid would run out there, use the bathroom, run back inside.
chickens are
I don't know what he's
eating the
doing,
shit.
playing with toys or whatever.
Yeah.
And the chickens would go and eat his shit.
Oh,
And then that's their entire day.
that's Islam.
That's it. That's all they did. They sat there and did nothing. Didn't even talk.
Allah Akbar.
Nothing. Shit everywhere. Fucking like there's no motivation to clean this place, to make it look nicer. It was just when there's nothing to do, what do? I guess nothing. And I remember just sitting there like, holy fuck, dude, 8 hours. I don't know how much longer they stayed after I left.
Whose fault is it that they're idle like that? Is it because terrorism is rampant in their country? Like, that's so unnatural to me. It's anti-Western, it's anti-Christian, because even in Christianity, it's like idleness is the fucking...
I think they're in like this bubble out there where they're not allowed to have like foreign influence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem. They've been at war for thousands of years. They've seen.
There's never really been like a Pax Afghanistan.
They've seen dynasties come and go, right? Back all the way back to Alexander, probably before that.
Yeah.
Right. The Russians were there forever. We were there forever.
They're just waiting for the next one.
They've just constantly been in this flux of war, and when you're in war, it's not like fucking like I don't know, fuck it. Pick a country. It's not like they're going to be able to come in and be like, hey, we're going to help these guys out. Don't mind us, military unit that's stationed here. We're just going to be cruising through. We don't have anything to do with the war. Like, no, this country is off limits. This is a no-fly zone, no entry zone. You're either military personnel that's been approved to be here, or you are the locals that are forced to just be stuck in this. It's like they're stuck in a...
so how do they get by? They just eat their own chickens and wait to die? What happens if that family gets cancer? What do? Just die of cancer?
They do have hospitals out there. Thanks to us.
Who pays for it? We do?
We do, yeah.
So we're paying for hospitals for the Afghanis that are sitting around all day when they get sick.
You can't just like move out there and take over plots of land for long periods of time without giving the country back something.
Right.
And so a lot of the times you negotiate and say, hey, well, if you guys don't fight us and you let us station these units out in these areas,
we'll give you a nice
to combat
hospital,
terrorism,
movie theater.
we're going to hook you up with this nice fat hospital, and we'll hook you up with these water canals and wells and stuff like electricity.
And they're like, all right, deal.
Yeah.
And they can go for free and get electricity. Do they pay an electrical bill?
No.
But they have electricity.
Yeah. Nobody's paying bills out there, Chase.
They're not getting any mail, no bills.
They have no responsibility, no bills, nothing. The only way they make money is off of poppy harvest season.
What do they spend the money on, though, if there's no real economy?
They have little villages. Like I told you, there's flea markets around the base.
And currencies accepted. It's not just like a barter system, like a bill of something is worth something.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, what they're making pennies on the dollar as far as like the price of this poppy. Right? Taliban would roll in, they would take the poppy harvest that these locals had made, and they would give them $1 if this thing's worth $100.
They're fucking them. Taliban's fucking the locals.
Oh yeah,
They've
been doing it for.
Do the locals hate the Taliban
ages.
because they know that it's like the mob?
No, that's their only source of income.
So they actually like them. They're like, oh, finally the fucking customer's coming.
Let's see, if it's your only person that can give you money, there's no other way to make money out there.
So that's why they're all terrorists.
Yeah.
Who else has done anything for them?
There's nothing else for them to do.
Are the Taliban nice?
No, they fucking suck.
Are they mean to the locals?
Yeah, they rule them with an iron fist. Like the Taliban consider them the superior of the locals, which...
How do you join the
hard.
Taliban? You just say you want to fucking kill anybody that they ask?
I don't fucking know. I don't know that one.
How do they recruit? Like, who wants to be a Taliban?
Good question. I don't know. I think a lot of these people join just out of pure boredom.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Because sitting around and watching your son eat chicken or your chickens eat your son's shit is the only alternative. So I'm going to join the Taliban. I'm going to go from town to town, fuck whoever I want to fuck. I'm going to take all the poppies and make some heroin.
Yeah.
Wild, dude. This is really enlightening because nobody talks about it like this, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't mind talking about it. It's just... I mean, it's just nasty. Like, war's ugly. War's nasty. It's but
war in the Middle East is special. It's like a different kind of nasty than a war in France or a war in Germany because
I don't know. I don't know
civilized countries, though, right? Oh, you would know better than me. So,
what I'm seeing out of Ukraine and Russia, it's a whole different level of nasty. It's like modern version nasty.
Yeah, but these are people that actually do pay bills, right? Or at least they did 6 months ago or 3 years ago or 4 years ago, right?
Have you been following any of these pages that are releasing the footage of Russia and Ukraine and the fights that are going on?
I have not seen much footage of that war in the last 2 years or so.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I'll send you some social
Tell me
media.
about it. I want to hear what's going on.
Drones.
I know it's a drone war for sure.
It's a drone war.
I've seen other footage of the
but
grenades.
it's also a trench war, but with modern weapons. You know, like the Call of Duty games where they're having trench warfare and they're running through.
All you got in your M1 Grand, yeah.
Right. Now imagine that with modern technology. Like this is the video footage coming out of Ukraine right now. Like it's raw. This shit is the shit that's going on there. You're like, God damn, these boys are getting after it. Like
really?
When I was
like
in the
what?
military and you were watching units that came back and you would hear like legendary stories of like ticks, like troops in contact that they were getting into. Like, dude, these kids out there in Ukraine are fucking. You want to talk about PTSD? What's going on with the Russia and Ukraine war is gonna
it's gonna fuck up an entire
even
generation.
after this shit's over. It's gonna decades, maybe
like, what's the
hundreds
difference?
of years. Just how modern it is. Like these drone attacks, the videos that are
So you'd be
coming
sitting
out
in
of
your trench
Ukraine.
and a fucking drone flies over and drops a grenade right on you, and like there's nothing you can do. Is that what you mean?
Basically, like it's happening so often. Like they're showing interviews of people like that are in war situations, and like the Ukrainians will capture this Russian guy, and he's sitting there, and he's like, you know, and this guy's like yelling at him, and like, why the fuck would you fucking follow along with Putin? Why would blah blah blah?
Right.
And then you see him like because he hears something, he's like, is that a fucking drone? Nope. All right. And then he'll continue going like this.
Wow.
Like you'll see guys that are sleeping out in the field in the middle of the night, and these drones have thermal cameras, and they'll hover over a guy, and he'll know that the drone's there, but he's so fucking tired that he can't. Like he's like, I'm not running. Like
he'll just let it roll.
They'll drop a grenade on him, and then he'll just grab it and throw it off, and go back to sleep, and it'll be like, boom. Like 10 feet away from him. Yeah, 10 yards away from him. And they'll drop 3 or 4 on him, and then he'll just keep doing it.
Why don't they hold the nade longer before they drop it?
They're so fed up with it that when one finally kills them, they're just like, whatever. Like, the drone warfare that's going on, we're seeing the tip of the iceberg when it comes to drone shit. Like, it's going to be nasty, dude. Like, if this is the first drone war
first iteration
ever.
Of like AI war, automated non-man piloting.
Wait till this shit. Imagine if U.S. and Russia U.S. and China went to war. Imagine the drone chaos.
It will be just machine versus machine at that point.
You want to talk about the whole entire battlefield, like sky is going to be filled with fucking drones.
So what you're telling me now is the next major war, like hot war, not cyber bullshit, not economic bullshit, not diplomatic bullshit, is going to be massively machine versus machine or unmanned machine versus unmanned machine.
100%.
That's fucking wild.
Do you think about
so it's whoever runs out of machines first, and then it becomes personnel?
Nobody's ever going to run out of these machines. These drones cost next to nothing to make. It's plastic and batteries.
Just machine versus
circuits.
machine. So why the fuck are people even dying in this war between Ukraine and Russia when it could just be drone versus drone?
Because they didn't know that this is what the war was going to look like.
It's the first one like this.
This is the first of its kind.
It wasn't like this in Afghanistan. Were you guys using drones in Afghanistan?
We had them, but not for that kind of shit.
Mostly
they were like
surveillance?
long-range reconnaissance drones.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Like the technology, just
you
from
said
when I was in.
They're like 7 layers of fucking air support.
From when I was in 10 years ago,
yeah,
the technology has grown so much. Like these drones, they've become so tiny that they can fit into these tiny little windows on these tanks. Like guys in vehicles. I'm seeing videos come out of there where there are dudes riding around those big ass. They made these trucks so big and so fucking compact.
Right.
And they're so high off the ground to avoid IEDs.
Right.
Right. And the way they built the bottom of these is like a V shape. So when a explosion hits,
they just bumps them a little bit.
It kind of like spreads out the blast as opposed to just blowing a hole through the middle. And those have no effect with drones because those little tiny drones will just like me, and then they'll find one little opening or one little crack or like where the turret is.
And they're explosive drones.
Those turrets that are on these trucks, there's a little tiny gap because those things spin.
They have to rotate, so there has to be a gap.
They built drones that can fit and squeeze in between that little thing, and then boom, they blow up in there, and it's like now you're blowing up imagine a grenade in a contained space the size of this fucking desk.
Yeah.
We're both toast. Right?
Yeah.
So this is a whole new level. This has completely changed the game. Like I guarantee you, military experts on all sides right now are thinking about the next war and how we're going to combat this drone situation. And if you don't have a plan, your country's fucked. Like, you have to be able to detect them.
You're the second
You have
vet
to be
that
able
told
to-
me this war was all about drones.
You have to be able to take them down, and you also have to you can't go broke while doing it, right? Because the biggest problem with these drones is like, I can have something that detects them and something that'll shoot at them, but if this thing's not accurate, I'm gonna expend 200 rounds to shoot down one little fucking $5 drone.
Right.
Whereas if whoever's got the best technology to detect it from the longest range, track it, and then take it down with the least amount of bullets, now you're saving money over the course of a whole long drawn out war. Think about that. You could be saving tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in ammo, because ammo is so fucking expensive. So, and then you also have to think about the technology behind the drones, right? A lot of these drones are now AI powered. They don't need a controller, right? There's a lot going on with these drones that
They're already using AI-powered drones?
Fuck yeah.
There's not actually a person doing
There's
it?
mothership drones that are releasing smaller drones out to go do business. Yeah.
These are public statistics. Of the average amount of rounds expended per enemy combatant killed, you look at World War II, it's like, I don't know, 30,000 rounds or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Vietnam, it's like 250,000 rounds expended per enemy combatant confirmed kill. And I could see how with drone warfare it gets to the point where it really is just almost like a coax to get us to spend an astronomical sum because of a small problem in order to have this like war of attrition where it just doesn't become financially worth it anymore for us to engage.
It could be, but I mean, we'll just keep going into debt. Not that big of a deal. The U.S. doesn't care. We'll just print more dollars.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to winning a war, it doesn't fucking matter. Everything goes.
But we don't even try to win wars anymore. We just try to wage them.
Yeah.
When was the last time we really won a war?
True. Yeah. Good point.
World War II?
Yeah.
Maybe Korea, you could argue, kind of.
Maybe. Yeah.
Think we're going to win World War III?
I don't think anybody's going to win World War III.
You think it's going to happen?
I think World War III will be the last war for sure.
Do you think it will happen?
Oh yeah, certainly.
In our lifetime?
That's easy.
So
I'd say,
this is it. We're done.
Yeah. Well, no, I think there'll still be pockets of people that are left, but I think
Do you think it's going to be like fucking sticks and stones and caves and shit?
We're not progressing quickly enough in terms of how we accept other cultures and their ways of thinking and doing business. What do you think, buddy?
Maybe I'm just arrogant, but I don't want to accept any other fucking cultures. I'm totally okay with other cultures being other cultures somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I don't want fucking Muslims coming into the United States. I don't want fucking swaths of millions of migrants coming into the United States with no fucking background check, no papers, no whatever the fuck, and refusing to assimilate. Like I'm totally pro immigration. My family immigrated to the United States in 1893 from Langenthal, Switzerland. And before they were in Switzerland, they were in Germany. So I did my ancestry shit. I found that Ulrich Geiser left Hamburg, Germany during the Reformation in 1526, went to Switzerland. My family lived in Switzerland for like 400 fucking years, but we're German. But we're like fucking 15th century German, not like, not Kaiser Wilhelm German, We're like old school fucking German, like invaded Rome German, not like whatever. Came over in 1893, immediately learned English, immediately started opening small businesses, not wildly successful, but definitely, nicely successful. There's a fucking church in Langenthal, Switzerland that has my family's coat of arms, which is like a goat and a shield because Geiser means goat herder. Like I come from a fucking agrarian German family that goes back 600, 700 years, and we decided we wanted to get baptized as adults instead of by the Catholic Church in infancy, and that's why we had to escape Hamburg. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm a normal American, just like everybody else. We came to America for freedom. We assimilated with the culture because we believed in the values and freedom of religion or whatever. And here we are. But the migrants that we have coming to the United States now, like, I don't have a problem with Mexicans coming to the United States and trying to fucking clean houses and do landscaping and start contracting businesses and hang drywall and start whether they start a marketing business or go to fucking Harvard. I don't give a fuck because they're Western. Like even the Mexican people, man, they speak Spanish. It's a European language. They don't even speak their own language anymore because it's a dead language. Nobody speaks Mayan anymore. It's forgotten. Like the Mexicans, in my mind, are European. because Espanol is Spanish. It's a European country. So when they come here, I'm like, no problem. You guys, same values. You have a nuclear family. You don't really get divorced because it's against your religion. You have as many kids as you possibly can because you believe in just family and you live together, and it's humble and it's modest, but that's noble in the same way. Totally cool with that. But when you have fucking 30,000 CCP motherfuckers coming into the United States, and we saw them standing at parade rest outside the border under the Biden administration, it's like, if they got out of the CCP, that means the CCP sent them, because you can't leave the CCP without the CCP letting you go.
Right.
And I'm worried about fucking Islam, honestly. And I'm not trying to be like a George Bush neocon that's like war on terror over and over again. Like, I don't like George fucking Bush. And I don't like the wars that we went in with Afghanistan or Iraq, even though I think it's noble what you did. And I think that the men that were involved on the ground were very heroic. Never spit on a fucking vet. But we know that it was fucking Dick Cheney and his buddies getting fucking massive contracts, and they loved the war in Vietnam because of the munitions contracts for LBJ and his fucking cronies. Like, it's the political corruption that bothers me, but it's the intentional erosion and eradication of Western civilization with replacement migration. Chuck Schumer came out and he said the reason we have to allow all these migrants to come into the United States, he said this explicitly outside in some fucking public event, is because we're not having enough children in the United States, and so the labor force is shrinking. So we have to bring in as many illegal migrants as possible to replace the eroding labor force. I'm thinking to myself, fuck you, Chuck. Why the fuck are you deciding as a policy matter to allow so many foreigners who refuse to assimilate as possible in the United States as possible, to replace the fact that we Americans, I'm not talking about white people, but just anyone that adopts Americanism, to replace them not having enough children because inflation is so high.
Right.
It's like, you solve the inflation problem, we'll have kids, you'll have your labor force. But you can't solve that problem because you can't line your pockets unless the government's spending as much money as possible, and your military industrial complex contractors are making a killing while you're invested in their publicly traded companies, you know?
Yeah.
So I think World War III, probably inevitable, because even Jesus Christ said himself that there will always be war, and there's not that many wars that we can have without having World War III. It almost seems inevitable that way. But where I land now is I'm primarily concerned that when we win the AI arms race against the CCP, that though we've averted tyranny by communism or internationalism, whatever you want to call it, we'll have empowered our own domestic government to be our tyrant. And I feel like right now the American people are in a position where they have to choose between an international tyrant or a domestic one. And my primary concern is, how do we fix our institutions domestically so that when we give them omnipotence, they're incapable of abusing it against their own people? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that's a good point to end on right there. But I do want to ask you one last thing before you go.
No, I will not make out with you.
I got one for you. You've been working at Infowars for almost 3 years now?
Yeah, over 2 years, yeah.
Okay. And so you've kind of grown quite a bit, I imagine, within the last 3 years.
Sure.
In this public spotlight.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a provocateur or an educator or something else? And where do you see that going with what you're doing?
I am not a provocateur intentionally, but a lot of what I say is provocative. And I do provoke when I believe provocation is necessary, but it's not for the sake of followers. I promise you, Shawn, friend to friend, I do not give a fuck if anyone knows my name. There are people in this space who do what they do just for the sake of attention. And I read Ayn Rand's Fountainhead when I was 17 years old, and that whole entire book is about committing to what you want to do for you based on what you believe in, no matter what anyone else thinks. And everything else is superficial or vanity or a waste of your fucking time. And I swear to you, Shawn, I do not give a fuck if my name is ever remembered or if anybody knows who I am or if anybody follows me. People say on X all the time to me, like, I'll post something, they'll say, oh, I unfollowed you. And my immediate response is, like, I'm not here for followers. My followers are here for me.
So what is your goal?
So I was born with a severe bleeding disorder called hemophilia.
Mm.
And it goes back to the Russians. It goes back to the Germans. The type of hemophilia that I have is severe. If I were to not medicate it, I would be dead in 11 years. And people think of bleeding disorders like, oh, if you get a little cut, does that mean you'll bleed out? It's not about, it's internal. So every day our bodies are breaking down and repairing, breaking down and repairing. And you don't really feel it because it happens so rapidly. But if you have hemophilia, for example, maybe you take one wrong step a little bit and you didn't feel like you sprained your ankle, but maybe you like jumped off a chair or a desk when you were hanging a light bulb. And then you'll wake up after going to sleep and your fucking ankle's the size of a softball because all night it's been leaking a drop at a time every second, right? Because your body couldn't repair it. So most people with hemophilia, they bleed and they hemorrhage in their joints. And because they bleed in their joints, their cartilage is eroded. And when your cartilage in your joints is eroded, then you get arthritis. And so if you talk to a hemophiliac over my age, honestly, before the medicine got much better, they're fucking like crippled as fuck. My brother Chad has hemophilia. He's had both his knees replaced. He can't straighten his arms. You know, he's fucked up physically.
Yeah.
He was born in 1973, I believe. And the point that I make with that is I grew up disproportionately aware of my own mortality relative to an average young person. Like when you're young, you feel invincible. I'm sure that you felt invincible when you were young before you ever had an injury in the gym. Like I think of like a young soldier, like, no, nothing can fuck with me. I can run 5 miles right now as fast as I want. You know, when you're young, you feel invincible because you haven't felt the effects of age. But when I was growing up, I was constantly warned either by my mother or my father or whoever, like, Chase, don't hang from that tree because you'll have a shoulder bleed.
Right.
Or Chase, you can't do that sport because you got hemophilia. And I was taking the shots in my hand. That's why I have scars on my hand from all the fucking infusions I had to make of the fake protein, right? Or growing up. Like, you have to take your factor 8 protein before you fucking, go on this hike because otherwise you'll have a bleed in your ankle, which is your target joint. So I grew up really, like, every hemophiliac has a target joint, like the one that they always bleed in. Mine was my right ankle and my right shoulder. It's why I'm ambidextrous, because I had to bleed when I was a baby in my shoulder for no fucking reason. Point is, I've been disproportionately aware of the fact that I'm going to die compared to other people my age my whole entire life. Everybody realizes their own mortality when they're in their 30s or their 40s or their 50s, when they start getting sleepier when they didn't used to get sleepy, or when things ache when they didn't used to ache, or it takes a few steps in the morning to feel like you're walking right when it didn't used to when you were 20. But when I was fucking 12 years old, it took me a few steps to walk right in the morning because my ankle was fucked up, And so the point is, when you're aware much earlier than average that you're definitely going to die, not just in an intellectual way, like, of course I'm going to die, but like, no, because you felt the porcelain characteristic of your body and how fragile it is, kind of like Mr. Glass from the movie. Then you start thinking on a different level, not because you're smarter or wiser or better than anybody else, but you start thinking, all right, the things that matter to me are based on, I'm disproportionately concerned about my soul. You know what I mean?
How so?
When you realize that you're going to die, memento mori, then you're way more concerned with the afterlife.
Are you concerned with your afterlife?
Yeah, 100%. Mostly the moment of death. Because I believe that when you die, DMT is just fucking saturated across your brain. And we know that with DMT,
certainly is.
We know that with DMT, there's time dilation. And I believe that if you die with a guilty conscience, when that DMT hits your fucking brain, it feels like a million fucking years. And if you have a bad conscience, you're going to have a bad trip. It feels like a real long time. Hell.
Have you ever done DMT?
No.
I know a guy.
So my point is, you asked the question, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to die with a clean conscience.
Okay.
That's the answer.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm trying to die with a clean conscience. And if everybody tried that, I think the world would be a better place.
I like it. All right, Chase Geiser. This is one of, I hope, many, because there's so much stuff we didn't touch on.
I loved it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hope I didn't drink too much bourbon.
No, you're good.
All right.
Go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, what's coming.
Don't even follow me. Follow Alex Jones. Go to @RealAlexJones.
Oh, come on. Where can they find
You
you?
can follow me @Real Chase Geiser.
At Real Chase Geiser. All right, Chase Geiser.
Honor and pleasure, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you, everybody.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?